Good evening, everyone, to the Fitchburg Planning Board, Tuesday, October 22nd, 2024. I want to start the meeting with I do want to give a shout out to my uncle, my godfather, Louis Bellabarbara, 89 years old, lifelong resident and avid watcher of FATVs, watching this evening from his home, and hopefully in some comfort. And I hope you had a good day, Uncle. So I just want to give a shout out to him. Wave to FATV wherever the camera is. All right, how you doing? Our first item on the agenda this evening are approval not required plans. And we have an A&R before us of 1041 High Rock Road for creating Lot 3, 65,000 square foot, and Lot 4, 65,275 square feet, and combining the remaining backland parcel with an adjacent Lot 1.
Did you want to do your introductions first, the comments?
Oh, I can do that before the hearing.
Okay.
Part.
All right, let me share the screen for you, Greg.
Thank you.
Do that. No, thank you for the.
If you bear with me for 1 second.
I'll do that
There's
next.
the A&R. Okay. It's all yours.
Thank you very much. Members of the board, my name is Greg Roy with Dilson Roy. I'm representing the applicant this evening, which is Angel Aldrich. And as you referenced, we're on High Rock Road. The applicant actually owns two adjacent properties right next to each other. The subject to this is, as you indicated, 1041 High Rock Road. And the property has adequate frontage for the creation of two building lots that we're labeling as lots 3 and 4 on the plan. We're in the rural residential zoning district, so frontage requirements are 175 feet with 65,000 and change square feet of land area. Both of those lots have those. The remaining land, which we're calling Parcel A, does not have quite enough frontage on its own to be considered a rear lot pursuant to your zoning bylaw. So we did not call it a lot. We're calling it a parcel. The applicant also, as I mentioned, owns the lot to the north. Well, planned north. It's actually to the west, and did not at this point engage us to grab a little extra land to create that, because he's really only interested in the two frontage lots for now, and he will retain the Parcel A for his future use. We have done the soil testing required on both of those lots, which is actually the reason why we have the property lines configured like they are. So we have soil testing and septic systems designed for that area. And I think that's all. Happy
A lot of ledge up there, huh?
There's a lot of ledge up there. So, but as we got towards that easterly property line, we found some good material. So there's room enough for two areas there.
Okay.
Does any board member have any questions on it?
Looks pretty straightforward to me.
All right.
Yep.
All good.
Good.
Go up to do the signage.
And as always, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
All set. Before we enter our next item, I just want to read our typical statement regarding procedures. All meetings of the Fitchburg Planning Board are open to the public. This does not mean that the public participates in all aspects of the meeting. It simply means that the meeting itself, including all discussions and votes, is open for public view. If you wish to address the board regarding a public hearing, please raise your hand and the board will acknowledge you at the appropriate time during the hearing. The board will also monitor any participants that are attending virtually for questions at the appropriate time. Virtual attendees are asked to use the raise hand function to be acknowledged. First, you would state your name and address. Second, approach the center table and either stand or sit. This allows you to be seen and heard clearly by everyone in attendance. And 3, the planning board requests that comments be limited to no more than 5 minutes in the interest of time. Please be advised that FATV is conducting audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast, and I ask that anyone in the audience who is recording this meeting to please identify themselves for the record now by stating their name and address, for which there is none. Thanks. Our next item on the agenda is minor site plans, which we have, and minor modifications, which we have 140 Industrial Drive, special permit and site plan review. It's for a minor modification. The applicant is Native Sun LLC, proposing to convert two grow rooms to packaging operations with no building expansion.
And Mr. Yan is on virtual. I just unmuted you, Charlie.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good
Can you hear
evening.
me?
Yes, we can.
Yep, we can hear you.
Good evening. This is Charlie Yan, Chief of Staff for Native Sun, here on behalf of 140 Industrial Drive, 140 Industrial Road LLC. Thank you to the board and all the members for hearing our appearance this evening. Here before you, the continuation of our minor special permit modification. At the last meeting, it was requested that we liaise with the public safety departments in town. So I worked with Captain LeMay and Captain Pringan of the Fitchburg Fire Department, Police and Fire Department, respectively, to review the security aspects of our proposal, and conducted a positive review with them, documentation of which we submitted to Chantel Fleck for the board's consideration. So I welcome any questions and appreciate you hearing our matter this evening.
Well, thank you for your attendance and for presenting. Do you want to go through just real briefly, just a quick narrative of the proposal, so refresh everybody's memory?
Sure thing. So we are proposing to renovate the 4 rooms shown in white, exactly where that mouse is. Mm-hmm. Instead of turning those rooms on for growing, we are going to build them out for like packaging and processing operations. We are a operational Cannabis Control Commission licensed cultivator and product manufacturer, and we're basically moving these operations to a different area of our building and building out, like renovating those spaces to accommodate those uses. So I can go into further detail as desired.
Sure. I know we got a comment. You're not changing the footprint of the building. You're already registered, licensed as a manufacturer as well as cultivations. There's no changes there. You're changing the area of the building. It's more about now where the, I'll say, delivery points or where the points of transferring the product to the vehicles would occur.
Sure. The existing loading dock is plans north, kind of in the middle of the page, and we're proposing to add an additional delivery door, plans east, and the plans east delivery door, yeah, exactly where the mouse is, would be where vehicles would come in to the vehicle park and deliver cannabis products to be processed. And then, that's the same spot where they would depart from. And we reviewed the delivery kind of security aspects with Captain LeMay in particular, which were satisfactory to his review.
Captain LeMay's here, so.
Oh, my apologies.
No problem. I was just letting you know.
Since you're there. Yes.
So that is where we propose to take in cannabis deliveries.
Before we get to Captain LeMay, if you want, I'll just read Captain Kringan's response because he's on here. So Captain Kringan, who is the fire prevention director, responded to Charlie saying it was, I'll skip over the introduction, reviewing the information and visiting the site. The fire department has no objections to the plans moving forward. We hope you find continued success. Look forward to working with you. That's pretty much it. So.
Okay. And then the other only question I have to elaborate on, just to make sure everybody's in concert, is you mentioned there is already like a garage door or a transfer aspect to the north of the building? Is that
Correct.
where the cultivation leaves the building products?
Yes.
Okay. Is that through a garage door or a people door or?
It's a garage door.
Okay, so so does the vehicles enter that as well?
So there are bollards in front of those doors. So the door is briefly opened, the product is moved inside, the door is closed, and then the delivery is processed.
Do you know why the bollards are there? To prevent you from entering the building?
I think it was a part of the original construction. We did not add them after the construction.
Okay, well, that's the lay of the land at this point. Okay. I guess that was the just other question, because previously there was a request to remove the perimeter fence from around the building, which was granted, which was really around the perimeter. Because it's an industrial park and it's on a steep slope, that there was determined that there wasn't really a need for adding a perimeter fence around the building at that time.
Charlie, we had talked briefly about the new door in the area you're going to renovate. And the conversation, we had a very brief conversation about vehicles might pull in, they might not. Are you planning on loading and unloading the new product on that? I guess this side over here, if my cursor's, never know when my screen's paused. In this area, are you planning on pulling vehicles in? Or are you planning on loading like you do at the other site, the other part of your building?
Barring any construction challenges, the intention is to bring vehicles entirely into the building at this door location.
Excellent.
And would it be, well, how difficult would it be, or could you, where you're doing your present delivery, where it's like outside where the bollards are, could you just use the new delivery door to load the vehicles from that side, or is it necessary to have both?
We've deemed it to be necessary in that the product that we grow ourselves in the grayed out area on the plans here will be basically remain separated from the product that is in the proposed renovation area.
Okay.
For purposes of limiting cross-contamination.
All right. I guess I would ask Captain LeMay whether or not he's got any concerns regarding the north. Bill, since we have the site plan here, it just wasn't apparent from the original submission that was how that was occurring, or that there were bollards in the way, and whether or not we figure a solution would be, if it's fine.
Good evening, everybody. I've been to the site several times and reviewed the plans that have been presented. From the police department's perspective, we can always advocate for more security for any facility in the city. So having the added security to pull a vehicle in we'll always add for that. We'll advocate appropriately for. The applicant here has been extremely transparent through their whole time that I've worked with them. They've done everything that I've asked them to do. They presented accordingly. Anytime there's been an issue, they're first to notify me before I actually have the chance to even read the daily log. I get emails from them almost instantly. So I appreciate the fact that they're 100% transparent with the police department as far as what goes on in that facility. The change in operations, the police department doesn't have an issue with. The only thing that I would ask, and I've gone over this with the applicant, is that once renovation is complete, that I do another site visit to make sure that the security aspect from a security standpoint, from where the video monitoring is appropriate, so that everything is on point, so it's visible and there's no dead zones at all after renovation. That would be my concern, is that they do some renovation and a camera is moved or relocated to an area, and they have an area that isn't picked up on where they could have a theft internally from a product. So that would be one recommendation, and we've gone over that already, that he assures that once renovation is complete, that I'll be back up to do a site visit.
Is it accurate to say that the FPD doesn't necessarily have an issue with the way they currently load and unload?
We do not have an issue with the way they're doing their operation right now. We've had no issues up there. Very, very minor calls for service up there. Most of it is 911 hang-up call and a false alarm. Other than that, they've been a great business in the city, and I hope they continue to have success.
So if we, and not speaking for the board, but if the board does deem that the existing operation can proceed the way it has, and then the new area that Charlie was talking about, they load interior, because that's part of the plan anyway, that's adequate for, that's satisfactory?
I think it's adequate. Like I said, I would always recommend for additional security, particularly for a business like this. The fact that they're going to be bringing vehicles into the business, it's encouraging to see that type of operation. So hopefully, that works out well for them, and hopefully they'll have success with that.
Because, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure you know better than anyone, this is the only facility that loads and unloads outside, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Because that's what started this
I
conversation
know.
was,
Yeah.
of course, it's up to the board to determine, is it appropriate to do that? So we're going to rely on you guys. If you say, we really want them to load inside, we either make them remove the bollards or we make them put in a fenced area around the existing facility.
Yeah.
If you think that, they're a good citizen and it's worked out well and there's no issues, then maybe, the existing operation can continue.
I also think it just seems like it's just minor. It's just bollards. There's already it's not a big ask of putting in a garage door or anything of that nature, or even a fence. It's just, can you remove the bollards and just make it work better?
Right.
So I think that's kind of doable.
I mean, I think when this industry started in the community, there was a lot of questions, a lot of
Yes.
concerns. Didn't know from a security standpoint how it was going to affect the community. And so we all erred on the side of caution. I think that as we've grown with the community to see how these types of businesses are operated, it's been very successful in Fitchburg, and they're operating in a manner that I think is appropriate. And I hope that you folks make the decision that you think is important as members of the board.
I guess looking at the location as well, I think is also another factor in looking at that. It's not against a very residential project or community that way. It's an industrial park.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of traffic.
There
There's
is.
not a lot, it's not visible.
No, it's not visible, but they have a great security, footprint. So everything is on video, which is encouraging. If there is an issue up there, I would expect that they would provide any video that we would need if we have to respond up there for anything that's severe and get data or feedback from their facility.
Okay.
Paula, does it make sense to alleviate some concern here, since there is a special permit tied to this, and this is a modification of a special permit, that we just, as part of the modification, we make it a condition that the new addition is to be loaded inside, and that if in the future Fitchburg Police or the Planning Board encounter any issues with the loading and unloading in the existing area, that we will revisit and require secured or interior building loading.
Okay.
I think if you add that permit condition, it saves us from trying to recall a permit if there's an issue. That permit condition might just leave us the leeway where if Captain LeMay says, we did encounter a problem and it might be better to do this, that way in the future we can pull that permit condition and say you need to do it.
And I would advocate that just strongly recommend that they take the leap to do it.
Yeah,
Since it just seems to be pretty minor about taking out some bollards to be able to do that. It would just enhance the security that much.
I mean, I would just want to assure you folks that if something were to happen up there and you have that condition in it, then certainly I'd be the one coming back saying, this was the issue, this is the concern from the police department, we have some issues, we need to revisit this, and there needs to be some changes. And I would be the one to present that to you folks.
Okay.
So.
And we've been lucky that we haven't had such issues. So you guys have been very good gatekeepers for this. So.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And this is actually minor site plan, so it's not public comment. Does any board member have any?
I'm comfortable with what Paul said. I mean, I'm comfortable, like, if Captain LeMay is okay with the way it is now, then.
Yes.
Well, I think the applicant has done everything reasonably requested of them. Been very, like Captain LeMay said, he's been very transparent. The fire department's okay with it. The police department's okay with it. I'm okay with it.
All right. Lynn and Alex? Anybody want to go first? You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay with this as well. I mean, it's complying with everything that's required of them, so I don't see an issue.
Okay.
And I watched last month's meeting, and everything that the board asked for, the applicant has complied with. So I think this is something that I would vote in favor of.
All right. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the minor modification to the special permit and site plan for 140 Industrial Drive, Native Sun LLC, subject to just the condition that was mentioned, which would be that the renovated portion to the rear of the building to be loaded and unloaded via that rear access door, and that, as I had said, I think a good permit condition would be to add, if it's identified as any safety or security risk by either the Fitchburg Police or the Fitchburg Planning Board for the existing unsecured loading door, that we at that point would require either interior building loading or exterior fencing around the loading area.
Okay.
Second.
And record the decision.
Right, and yeah, Charlie, make sure the decision gets recorded after it goes through the 20-day appeal.
There's no 20-day appeal, it's minor.
Oh, I'm sorry, no appeal. After it's written and you're given it. That's right. That's right.
In this case. Okay. So motion's been made with the second. And all those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. And roll call. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening, and go Celtics.
Thanks. Captain LeMay, did you want to speak? I don't want to keep you here all night. Did you want to speak on anything else? I don't know if.
In regards to this.
Anything on our agenda. Were you here for anything else is what I was asking.
I just noticed that you have something from local routes on.
So that's,
have
the chief
two.
already wrote us a letter, or you did, that's moving the time back to earlier in the morning in keeping with everyone else?
Yeah.
As long as you're good with that?
Yep.
Perfect.
And then,
I'll read your note. I have the email.
and then we have Apical seeking an extension.
I did not see that. I was away the last couple of days, so I missed this.
That's 431 Westminster Street.
Again, another, if I may come up, so that,
It's interesting that there's two marijuana sites on planning tonight. The industry has gone places that we never thought it would. I can say this straight through. We've had very little issues with marijuana in the community. And from the police department's perspective, the businesses are doing the right thing. They're notifying us when they have concerns, and that's for all three that are on the agenda tonight. So I don't have any opposition from the police department's perspective on any of the issues for either facilities. If that covers everybody here tonight, if it does, they're all doing what they're supposed to do, and they're all notifying respective of both the police and fire department when needed, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Apical's just an extension of time anyway.
Yep.
'Cause they're building out, but we'll get to that later, so,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time this evening. So we are now entering our public hearing portion. And our first three items are going to be really quick. Our first item on the agenda is special permit and site plan review for AG Dream Flip Again LLC, proposing to build a multifamily, let's say PUD, of 9 units. And this was continued, this is at 0 Fairmont Street, and this was continued from our September meeting. This continues many meetings. So I think on the next one, I think should be re-advertised.
Chris is here.
that.
If you want to talk, if you want to mention it to Chris. So, because we talked about this briefly at the last meeting, because it keeps, there comes a point where just give leave to withdraw so that we don't have to drag people out if people do see it on the agenda.
So we got hit hard with summer vacations, conservation asked for a peer review, so we've been working through that. I will tell you right now, the copies of the plans are sitting on my desk, and we're going to be submitted to you guys tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So we got delayed pretty hard.
So you'll be ready next meeting, is the gist of this?
Next meeting.
Perfect, okay. So in that case, Chris's letter was requesting a continuance till the next available meeting, so I'll just make a motion to continue till November. Our November meeting.
Continue to November meeting.
Which, for those of you that don't know, is the week of Thanksgiving. It is 2 days before Thanksgiving, so everyone knows.
Nice. I'll second that.
Thank you, Alex. There's been a motion with a second to continue to our November meeting. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. And roll call vote. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Alin?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye. Continue.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot there, Chris.
I was expecting it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Our next item is special permit and site plan review modification from 2004, which was T-Mobile LLC, but they're requesting a modification to an existing wireless communication tower at 259 High Rock Road. They have requested leave to withdraw because it has been determined that they do not need any type of modification in order to do the upgrades that they.
Make a motion to give leave to withdraw.
Second.
A motion's been made with a second to give a leave to withdraw. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. Roll call vote. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Alin?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye. So that was 259 High Rock. Withdrawn. Our next item is special permit and site plan review modification for Speedy Cannabis LLC, which requested an extension of the permit to renovate a building, operate cannabis delivery service at 339 River Street. That has also been requested leave to withdraw, I think, without prejudice.
And we do have a note
that,
from the applicant requesting give leave to withdraw.
Yes.
So I'll make a motion to give leave to withdraw without prejudice.
Second.
A motion's been made with a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. Roll call vote. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye, sorry.
Tracy?
Aye.
Alin?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye.
Just to clear for the record, obviously, I think it was inherent, but my first motion for T-Mobile LLC was also without prejudice.
Without prejudice. Okay.
I just want to make sure that that's clear.
And River Street was, its permit has previously expired, so it cannot be modified. The applicant would have to resubmit the full special permit application. Was the legal determination. Our next item is a special permit and site plan review modification extension of permit 2022-13 for solar, requesting extension of a permit to build a large ground-mounted solar array located at 0 Alpine Road. We have anyone here this evening for that, and we'll bring that permit decision up.
Madam Chair, members of the board, staff, good evening. Jeremy Price. I am the project developer with the Alpine Road Solar Project. I know this has been continued several times. We're here, if amenable, seeking another 2-year extension. The reason being, in this case, the interconnecting utility Unitil is experiencing procurement delays on critical infrastructure, a pretty common thing at this time of the year. We are looking forward to bringing this project to construction at that time, and as it's worth, the offtake agreement is with the Fitchburg State University. Just a minor clerical issue here. If you guys are amenable with extending the extension of the SUP, the application was only filled out with NESG MA1. The special permit in 2021 or 2022 had both NESG MA1 and Northeast Solar Development LLC, so we just asked that if an extension was granted, both of those entities are included on it.
Both entities.
I'm here.
Only because I think it's the case, but refresh my memory, was there already an extension granted?
I believe so.
Was it ever recorded?
I'm picking up for another developer, but yes, the special permit itself was recorded.
Well, so the original special permit, the one I'm looking at that's on the screen right now, has a completion date of no later than August 31st, 2023. So I was curious if we ever recorded, if Chantel, do you know the answer to this?
I think we took care of it this past month.
Okay. Okay. As long as we're...
We were gone, but somebody on your staff helped.
Yeah, Staff Lucas helped with that.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's an attachment, Chantel. I just didn't notice it. You attached it.
Yeah,
it was recorded September 27th, 2024.
Because it was not recorded.
Yep. Yes. And as we said, which is weird. No, but the one that's recorded is the original decision from 2022.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Yeah, the one that's stamped is the 2022 decision, which expired August 2023.
No, actually, okay. I don't think it did expire because, we put the completion date of but we gave it's a 2-year start date. So it actually runs past the 2-year start date, runs past the end date. Just saying that the finish date was a little too early for that. So if they're in 24 months, we'd begin filing with the city clerk. So the city clerk decision was October 18th, 2022, so we're right.
Plus a 20-day appeal period. Yeah, we're right at the line here.
So it's right there.
That's fine. I was just making sure. I have no problem with it. So in the future when we do that, we should probably, that date probably shouldn't be a date. It should probably be 2 years after initial commencement of construction. The permit condition number 25. Doesn't matter. We can talk about it another day. If you're okay with it, Paul, I'll make a motion. Oh, you got to take public comment.
Yes.
Yes.
Just one moment. I'll let him, because he's got to come to the podium.
Of course.
Yeah,
you can sit there if you want.
You can comment now?
Yes.
You can sit there if you want. Either place.
Okay. Please come to the podium and just state your name for the record.
My name is Paul Andrews, and I'm the engineer at the radio station WPKZ up on Alpine Road.
Okay.
And in order to reach the spot where you want to put the solar panel farm, it has to go have a right-of-way, an easement through our property on the edge by the stone wall.
Okay.
But there's a concern about an ancient cemetery that's up there, and we want to make sure that the bones aren't disturbed, that the graves are not disturbed. So I've been up there with my GPS, and I've taken a bunch of readings and measurements and so forth, and I can pretty well say that as long as they stay centered in what used to be a route down there that's now all grown over, that they shouldn't come within any danger of the, but it sure would be nice to get a definitive measurement.
How would you actually measure that? Is it a recorded, already surveyed area?
Do we know? How do we know that this body's buried there?
It's a matter of historical record.
Oh, it is.
Would you like to step up, Don, and talk a little bit about this? This is Don Lassler, and he lives across the street from the transmitter site.
Okay.
Yeah. Donald Lassler,
Hello.
Alpine Road, a local historian who's done extensive research on the Carter family. His originally Alpine Hill was called Carter Hill, and the family was up there prior to the Revolution. And I through careful research that the family was looking, applied to the city to have a grant, a gateway to their tomb, which a tomb refers to an above-ground facility, resting place. And that's what's up there. Behind the radio station, 400 feet from the road, is this big stone wall, which is backfilled with other stones. And from all the research I've done, and historical research, and you find out there's 10 bodies that have never been buried in another cemetery in the city, anywhere in the city or anywhere else I can find. And all the other ones say burial site unknown. So it wasn't uncommon for them to be buried in the property, especially back in those days. We were part of Lunenburg back then. So when I discovered all that information and that special note, which is right there from the city records, about him, Alicia Carter, asking for permission to make a gate and a passway to their tomb. And that's what I put two and two together when they cleared the field for the first time back when David Wang bought the station from Frank Philippone, if anybody remembers that, back around 2000. So now it's not verified because how do you verify if the bodies are underneath those stones without special equipment if you can get it? So we want to pursue that because I like to turn the area over to the cemetery department as far as maintaining it and for perpetuity, because I think the owner is very open to doing that to make sure it doesn't get disturbed. And right now, it looks like from where that wall is, there's a good 35 feet or more. But what we'd like to do is ask for a stipulation to be put that the area does not get disturbed beyond that 35 feet. If they have bring excavators out further, they're going to make a roadway down there. Are they going to, are they going to stay within that 35 feet?
Bring up a map of some sort. It's so hard.
They mark it off what they need, and we can mark off where the extent of the burial ground that we feel is there. So that was my request, to just put a stipulation on the.
Okay,
we wanted to just take a look at this.
Just to be clear, I'm going to pull up the aerial imagery.
Yeah.
I just want to know kind of whereabouts we're talking about. Bear with Dom. What's the number at what's your number at the top of the hill so I can pull it up on the map? 470. Because I can't pull up this site.
Yeah, 470.
Alpine. Oh, okay. Oh, there is an address for this site. Yeah. Okay. Just bear with me for 1 second. I'm going to pull it up on the screen here so that we can get an idea where we're talking. So this is the radio tower, correct? What's showing up there right now? So I'll zoom out a little bit. Oh, okay. So you're right here.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah.
Building. So these are the plots of that. And here's where our towers are, the 3 towers out in the field, and that's the closest guy anchor to the burial spot, which is right there. And this is the stone wall.
Okay. Hold on. Yeah, but I'll show you in 1 second. I'm trying to show it up there so everyone at home can see what we're talking about. So I'll give this back to you in 1 second. So you're talking. So the stone wall looks like it's. If you look up there, I'm going to show you. The stone wall looks like it's on their property, right about here.
It's right on that yellow line. That's the stone wall right there.
So that's what we're talking about. Right. So if you look at the tracks next to the radio tower, this is what they're using for access?
No.
Okay.
No. That's for the farmer to mow the fields.
Okay. So I don't know that we can do anything tonight about this other than to ask the applicant to investigate, because I'm sure they don't want to dig up anything either. The problem is we're going off this, which you can look at if you want. Doesn't mean much to me.
We need the plan.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much we can say other than
site plan.
Be good neighbors and do what you can do to make sure you're kind of stay as far away from this as you can. And you guys can probably share these things.
He knows where the access point is, so let's have him point out where.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to, I mean, I can move this aerial imagery anywhere.
These are different zoom outs, but see, here's our 3 towers. Here's our building. That's the stone wall.
I don't know if you want to see that. It didn't mean much to me.
On the side of the road, it says 14.
Yeah, without context.
And on this side is a U.S. Coastal Geodetic Survey plaque. little round.
All right, hold on. So why don't we do this? This is a public hearing. If you guys want to talk about this, talk about it outside the meeting. So we can. So as my suggestion today, if our chair's okay with this, my suggestion today is we if the board's okay with allowing the extension, we just make it a condition of the extension that you do whatever research you can to try and make sure you stay away from that particular area. You know, presuming it's there, which I don't know. I know Don is a great historian because I see his stuff all the time.
Sure.
But, you know, without saying it is or isn't there, do some research, make sure that you're not disturbing any burial ground.
Running over any.
Exactly.
And the other piece is, Don mentioned that it's already somewhat demarked. They have some posts of some sort to kind of.
Around it now, some driveway markers that Paul put up.
There are 6 driveway markers, and they're on that plan.
Yeah, it's hard to say from this because there's no context about the shape. I don't know where this is on the property. It's kind of hard to figure out where the location is.
Put it up on the video here.
It's like where.
MBTA jack, and you know.
Yeah, if we knew ahead of time, then we could have make sure that we had the actual site plan for this application in front of us, so we could depict where because there is an easement portion that they're tied to for access to the site. So we want to make sure that that's just not the spot.
Sure.
That's going to also impede the project. We're going to have to take another look at that if that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, our research to date showed that there were no cultural resources. I think to the comments made here, we're happy to work with everybody to make sure we're not impacting things. You know, they discussed constructing outside the limits of disturbance for the access road, and I think we can put some construction fencing, silt fencing, snow fencing along the edge, and I think that should meet everybody's requests.
Would that be satisfactory?
Snow fencing or even just stakes that stick out the corners.
I think this snow fencing would be a little more visible, just orange fencing along to determine the limits of disturbance. Less so than the stakes. I think we can definitely determine the right mechanism. And
this is only during construction anyway. We're just concerned about. We're only concerned about construction vehicles driving over it, right? Once they're done, there's not going to be other than
service truck.
Other than a service
Pickup
truck,
trucks.
there's nothing going back there.
Right.
That's correct.
Did I hear you correctly in saying that the burial site is already marked out, staked out?
I put 6 driveway stakes in to mark out a somewhat rectangular area.
Okay. So it is identified.
GPS points on all of them, okay? And my understanding of what was the right area was based on conversations with Don, who knows best because he lived on this neighborhood so long.
I applaud you guys for doing the research. I can imagine it's not easy to find all that data. So, just to be clear, question for you.
Yes.
And I've seen this plan 100 times. It's been a year, and I've probably seen 100 plans since then. Is the actual area that the field that the solar field is going in the back on here?
Yes.
Yes. So that's merely just an access easement to get to this site. What we're talking. Okay. So I think that can be rectified with, meet with them, come to an agreement kind of where it is, make sure you can get your trucks in there and mark it off. That way the guys that go in, because sometimes with construction vehicles, things get messy, they stay off that.
Or unless you think it's going to be an issue we could just continue it till next meeting and have them look at it and say, yeah, it's not going to be an issue at all.
I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think there's a workaround. If we need to adjust the road to accommodate it, that's something we could do, assuming the board's, obviously in approval with that adjustment. So
Okay.
I think we have what we need.
Okay. Any board members have any questions?
I'm just wondering if it's an appropriate request to have the site marked more permanently than it is right now, with some kind of a marker, so that it can be identified and preserved for the future. I think it's an important historic site, especially when it goes back that far. When you consider the whole hill was once named Carter Hill, so. I'd like to see the powers to be for the solar farm work with the people in that area closely so that nothing is disturbed, and possibly work with the people in that area and maybe come up with a plan to put some kind of a historic marker on the property.
And I can appreciate that, and we're willing to work, with the community on this. I think there's a lot of pieces to actually validate historical sites and whether or not they meet the criteria for listing. So I think that's another piece here. We're willing to have a conversation, but it hasn't been flagged in our consultations to date.
I think you should have a conversation, and I hope it goes well, but I'm all for preserving anything that has a historic value, and I'm willing to put conditions on any kind of a project to make sure those things are met.
Do we know who the important question here is they don't own this property.
Yeah.
So that's the important question.
Ask that question.
Who's Quiet Co. LLC? They're listed as the owner of that property. Of the site that you're talking about, where your radio station is. Yeah.
That's John Morrison and K-Zone Media.
Okay. So, like I said, the bigger thing there is this isn't the property of the solar. This is a completely different property. So I very much agree, but I think this is something that the historical.
This is a good neighbor policy.
Yeah, no.
Right.
I mean,
but it's not
if they can do something, but they're not the property owners.
But they're giving them the easement, though, right?
But they're putting a massive solar array on Alpine Hill, which is something that I personally would rather not see on that site. So I think asking for something in return is certainly warranted.
I don't disagree with you at all, and I'm not disagreeing. I think they should investigate. What I'm merely saying is they're not the property owners.
I know.
They're not the property. No one in this room is the property owner. The property owner has to
good neighbor.
And he's saying he's going to be, I think.
Yeah, we're willing to continue the conversation.
So if you and I can get together, and once you see it, I think you'll decide this, but it's going to be very easy to meet what we need.
Sure. Yeah, happy to chat with you outside after.
Who's reached out to the property owner? Who's in contact with the property owner?
Well, I'm your engineer.
Okay.
I'm the guy who's up and down building.
All right.
More than anyone
So
else.
their easement to get to the site is through your property, correct?
Yes, over on the edge.
Okay. So that's also could be looked at as the, right, and do you know, so do you know where the easement is? Does it run through that easement, or is it next to it? The actual portion that they'll be accessing?
The property line has a stone wall along.
Yeah.
And so we're on the downhill side of the stone wall.
Okay.
And then there's a bit of distance, and then just the area where I marked off where the graves are. The driveway stays.
True. I'm just trying to know, where is the, since you granted them an easement, where the easement, which is a certain like 20-foot wide width.
Goes all the way to the back of the property.
Yeah, but does it go through the site that you marked? Because there's already an.
It goes next to it?
Is it next to it?
I didn't mark the easement.
So there is a marked easement. There is a marked easement. So there is a defined easement.
There are.
I think. Usually it's a 20-foot or 15-foot type of access piece. Do you understand what I'm?
Yeah, I think it probably is 50 feet wide. I'd have to double check.
Okay.
I don't have the meets and
Maybe
bound
it's really
description
large.
in front of me. It shouldn't be that big, and the access road itself is going to be reclaimed to 12 feet. So we're not talking a significant area.
It's the transmitter building, and we're, and
is that the site
it just
plan?
goes down all the way to the back,
yes.
the stone wall in the back.
So this is according to this drawing, which I need to check the easement itself, this is a 30-foot access easement.
30 foot?
Yeah,
Okay.
with the road itself being 12 feet, and another 5 feet on either side for construction.
And is it,
This is the big one, right in the middle.
And the three towers, and it's the easement going along, and the stone wall is here.
okay. And then where's the place that you marked off? Which side of the stone wall?
It is, you go from this diagonal in the middle tower,
Yeah.
and it's over in this section.
Okay, so it's not really near this.
Right, so I mean, there may be
Aspect.
30 feet of space before you get into.
Okay, so it's not likely.
So I think we're going to do it pretty well. We want to mark it out and be right.
Yes.
I mean, I think we're comfortable with the condition to install the snow fencing on the LOD, the access road, and it sounds like that should address your concern.
Yeah. And if they already have markings out there to stay outside of whatever those barriers.
yeah, I think we need to take a look at the markers and then, validate the research that they conducted.
Okay. On this side road, and this is the, right there, the stone wall. Yeah, so he said it should be, he said about 30 feet. Yeah, so it has to get down. So I don't know if you can't see this, but here's the
I think, agreeing in concept with what Peter Capadacci was saying, that it for what little it would cost you, I think it would be a great thing if you could meet with the property owners and with Don, because he knows history, and after you're done construction, put up, whether it be one granite post marking the edge of the site, so that, just kind of a marker saying, there's something here. Whatever you guys agree on, I think that would be a nice thing to do. And maybe the Historical Society can help out with some sort of, notation or whatever the heck that they would normally do. I don't know how that works. So I think that would be, Peter's right, it'd be a good neighborly thing to do. And I think that it's a minimal cost to you guys when you're all done the project.
one quick question, if you could just.
Well, Paul, I didn't catch what you said.
I just want, I'll respond in 1 second. Go ahead, Paula.
Just to clarify, because of your image right here, so here's Alpine Road.
Yes.
There's a wire. Yes, please come forward. So you're talking about right up here in this area.
So this is this middle tower, and there are 3 guy wires, 1, 2, 3, and going straight back this way about 100 feet is where, and you see this contour? Yeah, and it's like a drop off, and there's all these rocks. It's like a wall of rocks, and below it there are what seems to be crypts, where things sunk down after the caskets collapsed,
Okay, so this area here that you marked.
This area here is all the stone wall.
Which is? Okay. This is not where that is. This is just, you're just marking the stone wall.
Right. I went along the stone wall with my GPS and just took a bunch of waypoints to make a line.
Okay. Which, so, but the now, area where...
These points right here are where I stuck my markers in the ground.
Okay. Thank you.
Right, so there's 6 of them. These
That's
are above,
wall, so
these are above the wall, right, and these are below.
Okay.
There's scale.
Go ahead.
Oh, just hold on 1 second. I just want them to finish. I don't want a couple things going on at the same time.
Thank you.
A picture of that?
1 inch.
You can bring it up to them.
50 feet. So we agree on that being an inch. We're well over 75 feet from the wall that you're describing.
Yeah. In fact, I was taking arcs from this point, which is the closest to the spot, to these others, which are the closest, and I get nothing less than 80 feet. So okay. I think we'll be good.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure we all know where spot.
It doesn't look like that now. It's been so grown over. Wow.
It's cleared about 1999.
Do you understand where it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
They cleared the field completely.
Thank you.
You can keep that if you like.
Okay.
No. I was just waiting for everyone. Peter asked me a question. I was just waiting for everything to get, so we have one train of thought going the whole time. Thank you. Peter had asked me what I had mentioned to the applicant, and I'm perfectly fine if the board consensus is to make it a permit condition. I do agree with Peter in concept that it's not much to ask of the applicant to add a permanent marker noting that this is, something. And again, I don't, gravesite or whatever it is. The Historical Society, I guess, would have to help with that. The only reason why I stated what I stated to you was the property owner has not agreed to this. I know this is the property owner's engineer, but the property owner has not agreed to this. So I don't want to make it a permit condition and the property owner say, I don't want a marker of a cemetery there. So that's the only way, that's the only reason why I hesitate.
I just condition it upon agreement of the property owner.
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, I think it's, it's a small thing to say, post-construction, they add a granite post with a marker saying
Yeah.
what it is, and, you know, to the best of the Historical Society's knowledge or Don's knowledge or whatever. My suggestion would be that that's done after construction's done, meaning so that you have all the equipment out of there, everything's back to the way it was, and, they hand dig a post or granite post or whatever, saying this is, a site. Whatever the heck that is.
I respectfully disagree. I just don't think it should be put on them. I think if the property owner wants to put something on it, then that's fine. But I don't agree with putting it as a stipulation on there. I don't know. That's my opinion.
And that site has been disturbed, and it wasn't uncovered in their construction activities either.
Again, I think maybe we just leave it as, be a good neighbor, and if you guys can mutually agree to do something, if the property owner wants it, do it. That was the way I originally worded it. I don't disagree with Tracy at all as far as it's a sticky situation when the property owner is not even here to discuss this. But I do think that it'd be a small token for, hey, we kind of dug up next to you for 6 months or 3 months or however long it's going to take you. This is.
Well, let me ask the applicant this: should the owner of the property that this tomb is located on, and should the historians that live in the area come to the agreement that they would like to put some kind of a marker on this historic site, would the applicant be willing to discuss with them and fund that marker?
I think in principle we're open to it. The marker would be placed on private property.
Right. If the owner of that private property says it's okay and would like it, would the applicant, who is building a multi-million-dollar solar array on Alpine Road, be willing to donate a little bit of money to put a historic marker on that site?
I think the answer is yes. It would be helpful to have an understanding of cost and scope of the marker, but yes.
So basically what I'd like you to do is work with the people that live in the area, meet with them and the owner of the property, and if that is their wish, I believe that's the least that can be done, is to identify the site with an appropriate marker, historic marker.
I think we're open to that, yes.
Okay.
All right, how would we like to move forward with this?
Any other public comment?
Yes, it's true. Any other further public comment? It is an extension. I'm not sure if we got any department reviews because it's an extension.
Hold on, let me look in the folder.
Only Ryan got back to me, and I don't think he commented on this specific project.
Okay.
Okay, I'm pulling up his.
I think.
Is there somebody else? Oh, would you like to comment on the project?
Yes, Chris Albert in the butter.
Absolutely.
Project.
Thank you.
You'll have to apologize. I've not been up with the history of this and not followed it probably as closely as I should have. But during the course of this, as I understand, this is not as of right, right? During the course of this, have there been any discussions with the between the city and the developer about mitigating potential negative impacts due to the construction? Impacts on, do the construction vehicles coming through the high tension lines that are going to be required in order for the array to be connected to the grid. Has that been considered at all?
That would have been discussed during the permit special hearing aspect.
Yes.
In regards to that.
Yes.
Any offsets to the city, whether or not the city requested them.
So I'm sorry?
Typically, there's a payment in lieu.
So there's a pilot agreement. I don't know the specifics, meaning there's extra taxes collected for this property to offset and contribute to the city's general fund. We also, as part of the original, because this was already approved, this is just an extension. As part of the original approval, which was to the best of my recollection, relatively lengthy. There was like stormwater analysis and all that sort of stuff that was part of it. As far as, are we talking about like wear and tear on the roads from the construction vehicles?
Yeah,
They should be minimal, because you're not are you taking logs off the site?
I need to double check. I don't think so. There's a condition in the special permit that indicates damages to be repaired by the applicant, satisfactory to DPW.
Okay.
Yeah,
this is a small, this is a 2.7 megawatt project. This isn't 100 megawatts. We're talking maybe 50 vehicles. It's a pretty short construction timeline, no different than residential or commercial.
There's new pavement there.
Yeah, right. Newly paved Upper Alpine Road.
Yeah, no, and the residents certainly appreciate that and would like it to last as long as possible. I think the issue that we've seen is some of the work that Unitil has done has resulted in some, essentially, right, they have to put in new poles, right, so they're drilling next to stone walls, and there's some debris associated with that. In some cases, it looks like the stone walls may have been disturbed. Pretty extensive tree trimming, some mature trees that were lost in order to add the larger poles.
So if you find that stone walls were disturbed or that trees were taken down, you should notify someone in the city, whether it be Chantel or DPW. Alpine's a scenic road.
Isn't that we just did?
Well, so what I was going to say was, I was going to say an aside, we did just go through tree by tree and find that Unitil selected some dead trees, and we have our tree warden and the planning board went through 20 trees over the course of 3 hours in a meeting, talking about each tree, which can be taken down and which can't. No one can take down a tree within the private way on Alpine Road without approval because it's a scenic road.
Public way, yeah.
Within the public way, excuse me. And you also can't disrupt stone walls as long as they're within the public way on Alpine Road. So if that were the case, my suggestion would be to take pictures. If you know who did it, convey that either to DPW or planning, and we can try and reach out to Unitil if it was them, to try and resolve that situation.
But there is a list that we approved with the tree warden for removal of certain trees on Alpine, so that list is with our planning office.
Yeah.
Which they probably did within the last month, if I had to guess.
Well, I did actually make an attempt to contact the city. I spoke with the DPW, or left messages with the DPW and with my city councilor. I actually didn't get a response, so I probably would have attended that hearing if I had known about it. But I think the other issue is some of Unitil's construction vehicles. For instance, there have been oil leaks, right, and things of that nature. I think it's a concern to people living there, and it's anything that the city can do to make sure either that doesn't happen or that it's mitigated would certainly be appreciated by the residents there.
Okay. We did also request, and maybe Chantel, if you could follow up, by September 30th, Unitil was supposed to submit a planting plan for new trees along Alpine for those that were removed.
Yeah, and that's certainly of interest to me. I spoke with Unitil Forestry several times, and in addition to trying to contact the city, and none of that information was conveyed. So that's good to know. Is that publicly available?
It should be. Well, we requested the plan to be submitted by September 30th. I'm not sure if we've received it yet.
I'll have to follow up and.
So we'll follow up with that, because we want to present the planting plan. We wanted to make sure where they were going to put them. They don't, of course, they necessarily can't put them where the trees were just taken down, but in appropriate locations and maybe better locations along the road, and that the trees are suitable for the scenic road that it is. So
no, that's fantastic. Again, in several conversations and phone calls, I wasn't able to connect with that info.
If I can, because he had mentioned the permit conditions, I can read you a couple that apply. These are already permit conditions that that will be maintained as part of this project. It says any damage to Alpine Road to construction must be repaired by the applicant to the satisfaction of DPW engineering. There's comments about, obviously, stormwater. Any alteration to the stone boundary walls along Alpine Road or cutting of trees within the right-of-way will need planning board approval under the Scenic Road Act. There's comments about here, stormwater design shall be revised if needed based upon test pits witnessed by DPW engineering to address any observed changes in conditions. So I guess the short answer is, and there's more, there's a whole bunch more. The short answer is we do try to mitigate those when we do the original permit approval. If you are aware of specific issues, like I said, especially, when we're talking about within the public way, give or take, 5 feet from edge of pavement, depending on where it is. If trees get taken down, if stone walls get removed, you can probably send an email or give a call to principal planner, to Chantel Fleck, because the planning board is responsible for the Scenic Road Act. And if we know that it's someone that does it, and we can contact them, especially if it's Unitil, because to my knowledge, they've been pretty amenable to, like we asked them to grind stumps and things like that. They've been pretty amenable to things like that. So if you said, you damaged the rock wall, can you fix it? Yeah. But we need a point. We need to know that it happened. So if you guys take pictures, send them to the principal planner, and we can go from there.
Yeah, okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And just for some clarification, when do you think the project will start? You're asking for 2 years, and then once you do start, how long is it going to take to finish for, disturbing of the trucks and everything and of the site that abutters and such can expect?
Sure. I'll need to confirm with our team realistically what Unitil thinks they'll need to get that critical equipment. As far as construction is concerned, once we break ground, this should take no more than 8 to 12 months.
8 to 12.
I mean, the worst case scenario there.
Okay. So we'll be looking at that extension of 24 months and then completion within a year after you start.
And I don't know if it's worth noting, Paula, but permit condition 16, I know we sometimes do these with hopes that things start right away and they don't. It says planning board review of site in compliance with special permit conditions 1 year from effective date of the approval. It should probably say within 1 year of start of completion of construction.
Yes, we can update that.
So permit condition number 16 should be rewritten to say planning board review of site in compliance with special permit conditions 1 year from completion of construction.
And we'll update number 25, which is completed no later than August 31st, 2023, to 1 year after commencement.
That sounds good. Thank you. We're only asking for 2 years just so we don't have to come back and bother you again.
Yeah.
In case they're delayed.
Yep. No.
We'd like to get it in the ground.
And I know we conveyed to the to Jamie Rowe, who was the prior engineer for this, several times about there's been one particular site which was clear cut and was mismanaged by the property owner, not by the solar company. But it caused some runoff issues. Be cognizant of the work that you do and careful for site runoff, especially during construction.
Of course. And we'll be following the SWIP and all the best practices.
Yep.
But noted, things happen, and
and that's the only reason why I mention it, because we can't say it enough that it's always easier to solve problems before they happen than to wait till there's a problem and
quality contractors
becomes worse. Exactly.
And I'm gonna say the end of October 31st, 2026.
For completion of the project?
No, for the 24 months to begin.
Okay.
The 2 years from
today.
This October to end of October, rather than a mystery date in between. I'm just going to do the end of the month.
You might have answered this, but I had stuff going on.
Yes.
Did you say when you hope to start?
I would just be a speculation on procurement. So I can look into it and get back to you guys.
Okay. No problem. I'll put that in the form of a motion, Paula, if we're done taking comment. Oh, I'm sorry. If we're done taking comment, I'll close the public hearing.
Is there anything else? Is there anybody with their hands raised in there?
There is no one virtually with hands raised, no.
For that, anybody, Lynn or Alex, have any comment?
Yeah. Again, similar to what Peter was saying earlier, I have concerns about not only the historical ramifications and again, I don't want to vote on something that might desecrate a graveyard. So I'd like to, one of the conditions, I think Paul had said, I definitely want input from the Historical Society, and I want to hear from the owner to see if he's even okay with it.
So,
Okay with the marker?
Yeah.
Or there's also a condition of, it's been presently demarked to a certain degree, that they would have to stay away from that line that they've marked out for the outside of the cemetery.
Okay.
For that, which it looks like from the plan, it looks like it's greater than 50 feet presently from the access road, so it doesn't look like it's going to be close to the access road where it's going to be disturbed.
We don't have legal rights outside of the 30.
he can't hear you unless you're at a microphone.
We don't have legal rights to the property outside of the right-of-way, so there'd be no way, shape, or form, theoretically, that we're impacting that area.
Okay.
I apologize, Alex and Alin. I was trying to put stuff up on the screen, but we were looking at things that people brought. But for those that, because you're not here, I think the consensus between everyone was they're going to stay away. We'll make them put up something to stay away, but I think it's far enough away from where they're accessing the site anyway.
Right.
Okay, great. Yeah, that was my major concern because
Yep.
I don't,
I'll make note of it when we get to permit conditions.
And then,
Right, thank you.
okay. And then the other aspect would be, separately, it was just whether or not there's a request for them to work together to see if they could help donate towards a marker for the cemetery in the future endeavors to help demarc that cemetery.
I have ideas about a permit condition for that.
Okay. And Alin, do you have any thoughts, comments?
It was the same that Pete had brought up and Alex just raised as well, with the historical marker, staying away from that particular land, not desecrating it, and essentially, maintaining that historical part of Fitchburg.
Jeremy, do you have a business card or a contact information that you could share with the neighbors on you at this point?
I don't, but I was going to connect with them before I departed. So.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion's made with a second to close the hearing. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed.
We just aye.
Yeah, aye.
That's fine.
Aye.
Alin?
Oh, sorry, aye.
It's okay.
The ayes have it, just closing the hearing.
I will make a motion
Discussion.
to approve the special permit extension and modification of permit 2022-13. The permit conditions that we noted, the first would be that the permit holders or the applicants are, correct me if I'm wrong, NASG MA1 and Northeast Solar. That sound right? I'm pretty sure that's what you said. I wrote it down when you said it.
NASG MA1 LLC and then Northeast Solar Development LLC would be the other.
NASG MA1 LLC and Northeast Solar LLC. Permit condition 2 would be changing the permit condition 16 to read planning board review of site in compliance with special permit conditions within 1 year of completion of construction. The timelines for construction would be commencement of construction end of October 31st, 2026. Is that right, Paula?
Yeah.
And then completion of construction within 1 year of that date.
Or
And then-
whichever start date they have.
Right, whenever they start.
Yeah, no later than.
And then the additional permit condition, like we talked about, to converse with the neighboring property owner's engineer that we talked about today about placing snow fencing to make sure that the noted potential burial ground isn't anywhere near, isn't disturbed or destroyed or run over by any construction equipment, and to investigate upon agreement from the adjoining property owner, the applicant potentially installing some sort of historical marker, permanent marker on the site.
Installing or contributing to.
contribute to. Yeah, I said investigate to leave some leeway in the event that it's not allowed, but yes.
Are we comfortable setting a cap on a potential donation here of up to $5,000?
Yeah, that's fine. I would say that's, Peter, does that sound adequate?
That was,
5,000?
that was exactly what I was thinking.
Appreciate
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. That's my motion.
All right, but, and that to be done no later than the end of construction.
I would say nearing commencement of operation, but no later than 6 months upon completion of construction.
Okay.
Thank you for the time frame for that.
That's it. Just for clarification, that's if the property owner is in agreement?
Yep, it was worded upon agreement from the adjoining property owner.
Okay, and there are potential implications for him as a property owner, and we want to preserve cultural artifacts.
So if there's questions that arise from this, whether it's between you or the neighboring property owner, you can come back, ask Chantel, you can come back under other business, we can discuss it, and if we have to modify the permit, we modify the permit. That's easy.
Thanks.
Does that sound adequate to everyone so far on the conditions? All right.
Those are the conditions I have.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Thank you, Alex.
The only other note I want to make, because everyone's here and it's fresh on my mind because we're going to talk about it later.
Can we take the...
Well, you can take the vote if you want. That's fine.
All right.
Go ahead.
It's okay. All right. Motion made with the second. All those in favor say aye. Roll call vote. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Alin?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye. Okay.
The only thing I want to mention, because you're here and it's fresh on our mind because we're dealing with other projects, our ordinance states that the amount posted for the reclamation bond for the solar panels, which is permit condition number 19, be done by an independent third party. When you are ready for that, contact Chantel and the city will hire someone to do it.
Yes.
Okay?
And there is...
Because some applicants have hired their own, and there were questions about whether they were an independent third party. So ask us, we'll hire someone, we'll bill you, and then...
Yeah. Well, actually...
or they'll write the check?
Well, we asked for a check, so because we got to do it like a 53G, a peer review.
Okay.
So. Yep. Actually, the sooner you do it, the better. The last couple of projects we had, it took a while because it's hard to find engineers to do the review. So just a heads up.
Well, in this case, they won't have to be reviewed. We'll hire someone to actually draw up the reclamation plan.
It was hard for me to hire someone for the last two.
Perfect. All right, sounds good.
Okay.
I presume there's an opportunity for us to look at the contract between the city and the third-party engineer?
Yes,
part of that process.
there'll be enough time.
Okay.
So.
Thank you. Yep, they always take longer than you expect them to.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for their time and contributions this evening. On to our next hearing, which we have special permit and site plan review modification extension for permit 2020-2, Apical Inc., extension request to commence operations for a marijuana establishment located at 431 Westminster Street. The I District. Let's pull that one up.
Good evening. Brian Horrigan here on behalf of Apical Inc., and we are simply respectfully requesting an extension to the marijuana establishment on the special permit at 431 Westminster.
Brian, can you give us a rundown of what the delays are? This has been quite a significantly delayed project. I know, remember last time we were here, you said there were changes to building permit requirements. That delayed you. Now we're on another delay.
Unanticipated, there was a storm September 11, 2023. It was a named storm that caused a lot of roof damage in addition to 12 inches of rain, and we're still settling that with the insurance company.
Oh, okay.
So I put a pause on things.
Storm damage.
Because you have the fortunate/unfortunate location of everyone drives past it all the time. So I know when people don't work there, and it's been quite a while since I've seen people actively working.
We're anxious. I mean, we're definitely anxious. Already have a lot invested over there, and just want to But again, just right, we got stalled for a bit.
It makes me feel better that there's a reason for the delay, that it's not just, people sitting on their hands, so that's good.
And this, it was how long are you seeking for the extension? Is it one, yeah, it's a 1 year.
Because I've been here, I would like to say 18 or 2 years, because we're talking about commence ops, not just simply, the finish.
I'm just
It has to go
wondering whether
through
or not-
the CCC and commence ops, so.
What are you thinking?
Well, just wondering whether, because of the ordinance is 1 year at a time, so whether or not we do get 2 years.
I would venture a guess
Not
that
gonna
we
get
are
done
well
in
within
1
our
year.
bounds to increase that
so.
amount, but it's up to you. If I have no problem with it. If you want to split the difference, like he said, and say 18 months, and that's commencement of operation, then I think that's.
Is that where it's, you're looking at it for 18 months for actual commencement of operation?
Well, as you look at a lot of that's beyond the control when you have to get work into the queue with the CCC.
Right.
And that can cost months itself.
We've dealt with it. You're probably number 20 something for us. So
Just went through it all, yes.
Yeah.
Something, so.
Yeah.
How would other board members have any thoughts on that?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, with the 18 months. Lynn and Alex, you okay with an 18-month timeline?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
Okay. That brings us to, what does that bring us to? October plus 6.
April 26th.
2026, and we'll do the end of the month. I don't like this,
Yep.
like in the middle, because we're trying to do it to like one meeting date to another, and we changed the meeting date, so let's just do it to,
End of the month is a good.
so we make sure we
good
can
suggestion.
capture it and not, because this one's like off by like a day. Even when we had the hearing.
I'm very confused by, and Chantel, maybe you can help me because I can't figure it out. I'm going through these, so there's an extension. So there's the March extension, and then there's the 20, okay. Oh, okay, I figured it out. The extensions are, it's still written as special permit 2020-2, but it says extension minor modification. Yes, I mean, I don't have time to go through all these. There's 5 decisions in here. There's the regular one and then all extensions after that. So my only,
They're all caught up.
I was going to say, my only worry is that there's timeframes buried in one of these documents, but there's so many of them.
For which one? Which time frame are you looking at?
No, I'm just saying if there's any timeframes we're missing about, I can't think of anything. If we get commencement of operation, that pretty much covers everything, end of start of construction, they've started construction, end of construction, and being up and running. The ownership entity hasn't changed, it's still Apical Incorporated.
Apical Inc. is the parent company, yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure, and all the other things that other applicants have had issues with, I'm just making sure we're good with, so.
Yep, and then we have still the current provision. The last modification was submission of an odor mitigation plan, so.
The odor mitigation, yes, yeah, that, we're not concerned, but we'll be.
We get closer to that time.
As another side note, because you're starting after a lot of facilities, I will caution you to not brush off the odor mitigation, because it's been an issue that we've had with other applicants, and I'm certain they've spent a lot of money after construction because things weren't maybe not done right before construction.
I believe our team, yeah, they're well aware, they're conscious, they're very mindful, and I think they've got good experience in working.
Your site in particular, because across the street you have residential properties. Some of the sites don't. So.
No, understood.
Okay, good.
Appreciate that.
All right. That being said, is there any public comment? Do we have anything virtual?
No one online.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience here like to speak on this matter? No one here? Any department comments? Additionally, okay.
The only one that's left is for the chicken place.
Okay. So we'll just have, and that still stands with the same prior to commencement of operations besides the odor mitigation plan, and then we'll extend the time frame to 18 months, which is the end of April 2026.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing if you want to do that first.
Second that motion?
A motion's been made with a second to close the hearing. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed.
Aye.
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 Great. Any discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the special permit extension for permit 2020-2, Apical Incorporated, to end of April 2026.
Second.
Motion's been made with a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say oppose, and this is roll call vote. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Alin?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye. Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next before us this evening is special permit and site plan review modification 219-1, applicant Local Roots NE Inc. Request to modify its permit in regards to hours of operation for a marijuana establishment from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. to 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. located at 371 Lunenburg Street.
And I know Dean is virtual. Dean, I just unmuted you whenever you're ready.
I'm here, Paul. Thank you.
No problem.
Bring that.
You want to just give us a brief summation of, I mean, it's pretty easy, but.
Yeah, I mean, we were so early on, you know, we chose the hours of 11 to 8 back then, and I don't even know why we chose that opening hour of 11, but we just decided that opening at 10 would put us more in line with the other entities in Fitchburg.
Okay.
And
You did get feedback from.
yeah, if you bear with me for 1 second, I'm trying to remember if that's in my email. Hold on, because it's not in the documents. I think that might have been an email. Hold on.
And
I can tell you this, the summary of it, and I'm going to find it in a second. The summary of it, because I just checked with Captain LeMay at the beginning of this meeting, was that Fitchburg Police is okay with it. It better aligns with the opening of some of the other facilities. But I will find the email in 1 second.
I just want the number of the permit condition too.
Yeah.
27. Condition number 27.
I don't remember, Paula, if it was a separate email we got from.
It was a while back.
What's that?
It was a while back, too.
Yeah, I think that was the problem. Hold on, let me look further back then.
We did do a rundown and like an analysis of like what the opening hours of the retail facilities are, and this was the only one that was later than the others. The others all opened at 10. This was 11, so it just fell in line with.
Chantel, do you remember when or where the email from Captain LeMay regarding Local Roots was? We wanted to read it and I can't find it.
Let me see if I can find it. Okay.
I mean, I keep everything and I'm looking through, unless it was before last meeting? Maybe
Oh, yeah, it was like 2 months ago.
Oh, yeah.
His last meeting was just coming in underneath like other business to talk about it. But before that, there was some feedback.
I was just looking at it too.
So it might have been late August.
Because it's not, correct me if I'm wrong, Chantel, it's not in the file, right? In the online file? Because I didn't see it under.
I think that at the last meeting that we had, I put local
Oh, it might be
routes
there.
under other
Okay.
business.
Let me look. That's a good.
Paul, it was the letter, if you're talking about the letter from Chief Martineau?
Yes.
It was,
Yes.
it was on September 11th that he submitted it to.
Oh, I got it right here. I got it right here.
Oh, great.
Let's see.
That's pretty much the key sign-off. Back.
I have no objection or concern to this petition, is what he wrote. I'm obviously summarizing part of it because part of it's the other thing, but yes.
All right. Does any board member have any questions?
All set?
All right. Is there anybody in the public venue on virtual? Do you have any questions?
Dean's the only virtual person other than board members.
Okay. Is there anybody in the audience here has any questions regarding this application at this time? Okay. Seeing none here. Is there anybody, we have enough information to close the hearing?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion's been made to close the hearing. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed.
Aye.
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 All right. Discussion.
Make a motion to approve the request of a change of hours from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. to 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Which is condition number 27.
Which is condition number 27
All right.
of our special permit.
Second.
A motion's made with a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. Roll call vote. Peter.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Tracy.
Aye.
Lynn.
Aye.
Alex.
Aye.
Paula. Aye.
Thank you, Dean.
Thank you.
I have one question before I go, and I should probably know the answer to this. Is this subject to a comment period, or because it's a minor change that we're done? In other words, we can move forward tomorrow?
It is subject to a 20-day appeal on the decision anyway,
Yeah, because it's a public hearing.
because it is a modification, yeah.
Which means we have to wait the 20 days.
Which means you have to wait for the permit to be drafted and then wait the 20 days.
Okay, so the permit, I'm just trying, Paul, just trying to get a time frame because I know the team's ready to kind of go with this. So the permit, how long does the permit take to be drafted?
You can contact the planning office regarding that.
Okay. I will, and then 20 days after that.
And then 20 days after that.
The good news is it's a quick one because there's only one
item to
There's only
change
one
on.
item to change on the modification, but Chantel might be able to speak better to that.
Okay, I'll talk with Chantel tomorrow. Well, I greatly appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks, Dean.
All right, our next item, and only because I want to just do the extensions, we'll get those due. I'm taking it out of order. We have a special permit and site plan review modification for Jensen Builders, which is a permit 2022-14, which is build out of a 24-unit multifamily dwelling on 11 Beacon Street.
Good evening. Aaron Jeanson, owner of Jeanson Builders. Yeah, we're just looking for a permanent extension to our special permit. I believe it lapsed on November 2nd of this year. Simply just during the process after approval from you guys, then getting all the architectural drawings done, the structural drawings done, all the MEPs and things like that. It's taken a little longer than anticipated. All the structural and design is completed. The only thing I'm waiting for is the final drawings for the MEP. And then we will be ready to submit. We think that's going to be probably within the next couple months, and we're looking to break ground probably in end of March.
Perfect.
Just trying to find where the expiration.
Yeah, you can't read it, but it does say November 22. It's very blurry on the copy on here.
Okay.
I just don't know the date, but I'll take it. I mean, it's November, so it'd still be 2 years.
Just go the end of November.
Yes.
The end of November of.
End of November of 26, yes.
Does any board member have any questions regarding the extension request?
No.
All set? Yep.
2 years, was there an expiration on that?
The only comment I have is.
We had completion someplace, right?
The only comment I have is just to make the applicant aware of particularly permit condition 13, which was satisfactory response to DPW comments. dated September 27th, 2022. So make sure that you touch base with them before you break ground, that they're okay with whatever, you know, a stormwater or whatever the heck they have to, you know, because that's in there for a reason. I don't know what the comments are, but it's in there for a reason.
There's no, let's see.
There's no completion date if
Yeah,
that's
we
what
have
you're
no
looking for.
completion date in there. Do we want to put in, like,
I mean, I think it makes sense to clean it up to say, you know, commencement of construction by November 2024 and completion no later than a year from that date, which would be 26, which would be a year from that, which would be November 27.
yeah, completion?
So, and that gives you plenty of window there.
Yeah.
You think it'd take about 12 months or so? Like,
Yeah, well, hopefully we're starting in March and we're well ahead of that.
You're a year and a half ahead of our timeline.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great. Builders, awesome. Is there enough information everybody has?
Yes.
Public comment.
Yep, and is there anybody in virtual that has any question or
There's
comment
no one
on this
virtual.
application? Is there anyone in the audience that has any questions or comments on this application? Okay, that being said, is
Make
there
a
any
motion to close the public hearing.
do we have any DPW comments or anything?
Not on this one.
No, okay.
I'll second.
A motion's been made to close the hearing. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say oppose.
Aye.
Aye.
Discussion?
I got nothing. I just make a motion to approve the special permit modification of 2022-14, commencement of construction to be by November 30th, 2026, and completion of construction to be no later than a year from that, November 30th, 2027.
All right.
Second.
Motion's been made with a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Alin?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye.
Just as a matter of an important note to you, when you do get this modification, when you see it, after the 20-day appeal, there's an appeal on this. After the 20-day appeal, it has to be recorded in the Registry of Deeds.
Yep.
If it is not, your permit will expire.
Okay.
Okay, just making sure you know that.
Yeah.
It's not valid until it's recorded.
Correct.
So,
All right. Thank you.
all right. We have before us a site plan review applicant, and I don't want to say your name wrong, but Zhu Zhang, what? You can see, and you can correct me up here, is proposing the renovation and operation of a fast food restaurant located at 353 to 385 John Fitch Highway in the commercial district. Good evening. Thank you for coming this evening.
Yeah, my name is Elaine. I'm representing him. He's Zhu Changhuan.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about my pronunciation.
Yeah. Yeah, we're kind of converting from a retail to the restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Paul, do you want to bring up that
Pulling it up right now.
uses?
I assume you want the site plan from way back when?
Unless there's anything new.
Well, there's a floor plan. Hold on.
I don't think we need the floor plan in as much as we just really want to make sure there's enough parking for what the current use is to what the proposed use is for all the uses in the plaza. So that's why we ask for, and I know you have all the dimensions on there too, so we've got that.
Mm-hmm.
Figure out how many spaces we're required, based on the square footage, how many spaces are required here.
Do you want to go through these? Because I got to pull out the zoning bylaw if you want to go through these.
Oh, wasn't it in the, because it's.
Was it in the
major, so
narrative?
we know.
Is it in the narrative?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Sorry.
It is.
So we have property owner authorization. Oh, all right, hold on. Parking lot, nothing.
All right, 25 parking spaces, including 2 designated handicap accessible spots. And there's only, it's like 1 per 4 per seating, so I'm not sure what the,
So what do you want me to pull up? Because I have the narrative, but it just says how many spaces they're using. 25 spaces, 2 designated handicap spots. They will employ 6 individuals, 1 manager, 3 kitchen staff, 1 cashier, 1 maintenance and cleaning personnel.
25 spots. They probably don't even need 25 spots, but I just don't know how many, do you know how many seats you would have or tables inside?
We're not doing any seating. It's just the fast food takeout. Takeout only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me look.
I was going to say Chantel just had it too if you want it, but.
Sorry, I got to look at the
I do have
parking table.
I mean, I was going to say, if you want to do quick math, we can. I can't go through all the uses, but we can do it
Right.
based upon retail.
That's what I was
where there are
asking
no
before
fixed
about a plan,
seats.
so I didn't have to do all the math.
It's 100 square feet of public floor
I understand.
Can you see, because you see the square footage is up there, so if you want to add them all together.
All right, let's do that.
100 square feet per one parking space.
Hold on one
What
second.
is
Paul
this?
has got a good idea. We'll add all the square footage because they're all on the plan.
But then-
75.
And I know we've got a more current plan than this, and we're in the office for this plaza. We've done for the,
Have you done more site plans for this plaza?
yeah, Green Era Cannabis.
Oh. okay.
Yeah, probably.
But there was a plethora of parking, like 500 something parking spaces.
Okay.
So there was plenty of spaces, but we just wanted to just document that.
Okay,
in
I
this
can
case.
dig it out.
Other than that, it's kind of like, well, how many spaces are on this site? We're going to have to add them up. That's why I was just asking for clarification before the meeting. Can we add them? Can we get just summarized per the table so we don't have to sit here and do the math?
Yeah.
But
Okay.
got to figure it. For a fast food restaurant.
So there's about 115,000 square feet-ish, call it 120 total in the plaza, based upon these numbers, assuming they're correct. So if, like, for instance, I mean, do you want to do based upon typical retail? I mean, I think the gist of it is there's a lot of spaces there. Market Basket takes up the majority of them.
So we have.
But even that doesn't go much past like the third unit to the left of Market Basket.
At most, they need 18 spaces, it looks like, based on restaurant, fast food, and the table, commercial uses. It's one space per 4 seats. Where benches are used, one space for each 10 linear feet of bench. Where no fixed seats are used, as in like a museum, or for each 100 square feet of public floor area, there shall be one parking space. And there's 1,800 square foot space they'll be renting. That's not even all the public. But if you just be conservative and use that, it's 18, so, but it's be less than that.
Mm-hmm. I was just trying to answer your question of if you want to figure out total square footage of the total uses there.
Well, let's do the worst. That's the worst case. Let's figure.
So what is it? What is it for like Market Basket? 1 per 400 square feet?
If we did, just take a look at commercial. Say we use retail for one parking space per 500 square feet.
Divided by 500 is 230. So that'd be 230 total spaces. And I have no idea on that site. I guess you can add them all. Hold on. Yeah, you can add them all. 20 plus 11 plus 23 plus 27 plus 23 plus 30 plus 30 plus, oh God, way more, plus 28 plus 28 plus, I'm already at 248 and I'm only,
Yeah, I think it's like,
I'm a little more than halfway through the plaza.
Yeah.
So there's 300 plus spaces there.
Sorry.
I think it's adequate.
I just want to make sure, we don't have any issues with the plaza itself on the ingress or the egress or the parking as it goes up to the building. I think it's okay at this point in time.
I mean,
I just want to bring this because we have comparisons with other plazas that are not so, that we have to, work with, but this one is pretty long-standing, that has its pretty defined egress and
well, you and I have talked about this. I think it's important for the rest of the board to understand why we're doing this. We have old plazas like this, like we had talked about Franklin Road recently, the Cinnamore Plaza. We have a lot of old plazas like this that have site plans from 50 years ago, and they don't meet our current standards, but yet we have poor applicants like this that come in and they are the ones that have to meet the burden of figuring out how many spaces are needed in the development, because our zoning code has changed multiple times since this plaza was developed. So what Paul and I have been trying to do is figure out, are they still in compliance even when we don't get a new plan? Because you can't expect a small, like in this case, a chicken restaurant to pay for a $50,000 site plan. Right. So we also want to investigate at some point in the future, how do we get these developments to reinvest and like we did with Cinema World when they redid theirs. Obviously that was change of use. And when Paul DiGeronimo did the front building on Franklin Road, that plaza, when they redid that, they came and they showed us a new site plan. So that's why we were going through this whole the calculations.
Yes, so sometimes the owner of the parcel has to give permission for the listing to come in, and it's their responsibility to make sure that they can meet some of these requirements parking-wise. So if something needs to be upgraded in order for some things to happen, sometimes that has to happen. But
I'm looking at the diagram for the parking for this plaza, and even if we were to say to the applicant, they need more space, there's no more space in this plaza to develop for parking. And this is quite different from the Cinema World parking lot. They had an excess of space. Yeah. So I can see remodeling that and revamping it and adding greenery, but it's impossible to do here.
But also just general knowledge, just general common sense. Anyone that's been to this plaza, you have no problem. Other than getting to the front door of Market Basket, you have no problem parking in front of any of these units.
Yeah.
So.
But we're familiar with, but it's also change of use. So it really depends on the use that if there's an activity that takes up a lot of parking, you can see that, so then it's an offset. So we had to make sure we look at everyone the same.
I was surprised the storage. I was surprised the storage facility is part of the site. I always just assumed it was a separate site.
I think I did too. Yeah.
But that's a whole other thing.
I'm okay with the parking situation.
Okay. So just clarifying, it looks like if on a conservative side they're looking at 1,800 square feet, it triggers about per 100 square feet. A space, so 18 spaces, but that's for public floor area. They're not even using that because the restaurant, they'll have the kitchen and all that too, so it's probably a smaller space. They're not even having seats. Right. So in that case, so it'll even be less than that amount, but accommodating 18 spaces, it looks like Paul said, they look based upon, if we did like a gross calculation, 230 spaces for the current uses that are there, and there's an excess of that by almost 100 spaces.
Yeah, I feel comfortable saying there were more than 300. I stopped counting at like 250, so,
okay, close to
and I still had quite a few rows left.
All right.
There's one comment from DPW. Right. It says, so the applicant has to demonstrate that they have an approved grease trap and that it'll be utilized. So you're familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
So there'll need to be a grease trap, and that'll be part of your build-out, whatever you end up doing with this, if there is a...
inside?
Yep, I believe so.
Yep.
You're asking the wrong person. I don't know, but DPW is requiring it, so if you have questions, ask the Department of Public Works.
Sure. Yeah.
Or the building commissioner.
And of course, you'll need your Board of Health sign off for the food, and that's going to be part of that too, so.
I understand.
All right.
Yeah.
Whatever other department requirements are. Mm-hmm. We're just doing the site plan to say you have enough there's parking available for that use at this facility.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right. Is any further questions, comments from
All set.
us and anybody in virtual land?
There's no one virtual. We're all done with virtual for the rest of the night.
Okay.
There's no one there.
We shall see.
Yes, unless someone jumps on, which would amaze me. Make a motion to close the public.
Wait, we got one.
Second that motion.
Wait.
Oh, hold on.
Wait.
I'll rescind the motion.
Mary Jo, did you want to speak on this? Okay.
Very briefly, I just wanted to put in perspective that the applicants will be improving a former retail space, even though it's quite small in that plaza, building out a commercial kitchen, adding restrooms, a tremendous investment, and they're bringing a food venture, which is a small but growing chain, potentially more to come in other parts of who knows where. And so it's really great to see them investing. Right now that space is sitting idle. And so having a new attraction that might bring more customers to that plaza, and possibly others will fill those other slots. So it's just really great to see that they are investing in Fitchburg with a new restaurant and doing the build out.
Is Cluck and Crispy Chicken already operating somewhere?
Worcester.
Oh, no kidding. Where in Worcester are you?
151 Front Street.
Okay.
Yeah, tomorrow is our grand opening.
Nice.
We've been-
Fantastic. Well,
yeah,
best of luck.
Buying past week for soft opening. Everybody like it.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to our community.
Thank you.
And we will close this.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
A motion's been made to close the hearing. All those in favor say aye. All those
Aye.
opposed
Hold on,
say
we need a
opposed.
second. We need a second.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay,
Tracy.
favor to close the hearing. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed? Okay. Discussion?
None. I'll make a motion to approve the site plan review for the renovation operation of a fast food restaurant located at 353, 358 John Fitch Highway. That's it. There's no
Satisfied
no conditions.
DPW comment.
Yep.
It's all about
Satisfaction to
departments.
the review, satisfaction of the
Reuse.
DPW to that comment I noted about the grease trap. Yep.
Okay.
Second.
A motion's been made with a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. Roll call vote. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Alin?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck to you.
Good luck. All right. We have before us this evening another special permit and site plan review. We have the applicant, KCMC Management, Inc., proposing to demolish and reconstruct a fast food establishment, Dunkin' Donuts, located at 125 Main Street in the downtown business district.
Chris, can I ask you, what you emailed me to present tonight, did that differ from the one that was uploaded? No. I have both comments, I just happen to have the one that was uploaded first, so, okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't looking at something old.
No, that's just a pretty colored picture version of it to make life a little bit easier for everybody.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah. So we looked at this project like 2 years ago, and we approved a project, and I just compared the two, and I think I got confused and mixed up both of them, thinking that the old one was the new one's the old one. So I'm looking forward to this new presentation.
All righty. For the record, Chris Anderson with Hannigan Engineering, here before you tonight for site plan approval and special permit for a drive-through fast food facility at 125 Main. I'm sure many of the board members are very familiar with the site. It's currently an existing Dunkin' Donuts facility. Currently there is a dine-in portion of the restaurant as well as a drive-through, which unfortunately dumps right out onto Main Street in very close proximity to the traffic light at the intersection with North and Main. Currently the building is pretty much run its useful life. It's deteriorated, it needs to be redone. We were before the board back in 2022. At that time, we were looking at doing a drive-through restaurant with an indoor component to the facility, so pretty much an apples-to-apples comparison, just replacing the structure that was there, and also improving upon the drive-through capacity because right now it doesn't work, for lack of a better term. Unfortunately, the original permit has lapsed. The applicant was working on another project in town that took precedence, and unfortunately, this one got kind of forgotten about until about a few months ago, at which point we realized the permit had expired. In the interim, they did reevaluate the site and ultimately determined that a drive-through only restaurant was more applicable for this site, as the pedestrian foot traffic has diminished quite a bit. So the intent of the project is to construct the originally approved layout with some minor modifications. We will be closing off the existing curb cut that dumps out right into the traffic light intersection as originally approved in order to provide an improved safety amenity in this area. We are maintaining a driveway entranceway that's located a little further east on the property. We are limiting this to a right turn only, so nobody can go across Main Street, which is a very dangerous situation to be in. So what we're doing is we're reconfiguring the drive-through layout so that all the traffic is pushed towards North Street so that they can utilize the traffic light system there in order to make their applicable turns. The overall scope of the building has shrunk by default. Originally, I think it was just shy of 1,800 square feet of building. Right now, it's about 1,036 square feet, so a general decrease in that. What this does is it allows us to increase the green space on the property, which helps with stormwater management and other situations in this area. As part of the overall layout, we're losing about 3,100 square feet of impervious area on this site, so that's quite a significant number relative to the existing condition. Relative to parking, we are maintaining the original approved 6 spaces along the northerly property line against the fire department. And because of the overall change in scope of the project, there's really no interior seating, so the zoning ordinance doesn't necessarily have a true number to set to this. So we're providing a total of 5 customer spaces so that if they do come to the site, they can go to the pickup window, pick up their to-go orders, and then leave appropriately. Okay. Originally, there was, I want to say, about 8 spaces along that frontage along Main Street, so we've reduced that down to 5. So we've increased the green space immediately against Main Street as well. Some of the site improvements, just to go over it quickly, we're providing a disconnect of the combined sewer system that's already on the property. So we are separating the stormwater and the sewer system, which I believe DOT or DPW was amenable to on the last go around. Stormwater will be collected by a new stormwater system, treated and then discharged into the stormwater system within Maine. The general decrease in impervious area lends itself to reduction in stormwater volume as well as rates, and the fact that we're reducing the overall pavement also helps with sediment load and other components of stormwater management. With that being said, that's the general gist of the project. So if there's any questions from the board, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Okay.
How many employees would be working there typically on a shift?
No more than 6 usually.
6. Is there parking on site for the employees?
Yes. Those would be located on the northerly property line.
Northern side?
Yes, on the sideline.
Parallel.
So the only public parking of the spaces that would be closer to Main Street?
Yes, sir.
And the only people you would have parking there would be if they want to walk up to that front walk-up window, because you can't go in the building.
Correct, no. So they would have to walk to the front window. There's a pickup window, and sometimes you can order through that as well. It's a very similar process that we have at the John Fitch property.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you know, did you ask Joe or any of the owners what sort of walk-up demand they have on John Fitch?
I didn't get too far into that. I know they're looking at more pedestrian traffic in the area rather than people driving to the site, because if you drive to the site, you get into the drive-through lane.
Yeah.
But I did not ask that specific question, if you will.
Okay. Is the expectation or is the thought that it's minimal, the actual foot traffic to the front?
Correct. There is some foot traffic I would expect coming from the T station, but it's going into town and stuff like that. So we did provide a connection point with the sidewalk through the parking lot to the building, so that's maintained. So we're still maintaining the pedestrian traffic, foot traffic through the area as much as possible.
Yeah, so you got the break in the sidewalk piece too.
Correct.
I know you're showing, so it's going over the landscaping, but that's not going to be landscaped.
Yeah, that's just my issue. I apologize for that.
Okay.
That's bad drafting.
Just a little too
But there is a break in the landscape island within the hatched area for the ADA space, and then you have the ladder system crosswalk to the main sidewalk system to the building.
I mean, currently, there's quite a bit of foot traffic to this. I mean, my office, literally my desk, I face Dunkin' Donuts, so I see everybody going in the, but there's, it's quite, I mean, just from the college and.
Just a question, the employee parking, the one closest to the dumpster,
So the dumpster
how do you
usually
maneuver then to getting into that spot? Unless you're just the first one to drive in straight.
pretty much the first one to drive in straight.
Okay.
That's what they're doing kind of right now in that area.
The manager gets that's what the last one to leave is the first one to park.
During the winter, it's snow storage anyway, so it's only used when there's no snow on the ground.
Yeah.
But
and then you potentially have the spot out front,
Yeah.
too, for that. And I know it says, I'm looking at the detail, is there's a decorative fence around the dumpster?
Yeah, it's actually.
not that
I
brown
can
one
pull-
anymore.
Hold on, I
Is it
can pull it up, because
brown?
that was my next question. It's on the detail drawing.
Okay, what is it?
It's vinyl.
Just a vinyl.
Okay.
So my question
All the
was,
plantings in front of it.
my question was, that looks like the rear, the picture. So is it like, is it vinyl all the way around because it says provide heavy-duty posts for gates. What, the gates vinyl enclosure gates? Okay.
Right, everything will be vinyl.
Okay.
The gates will be vinyl. That's just our generic detail.
Yeah, that's fine. I did have a question about, two questions. So, well, one's a comment. So, and the fire chief was here, and I told him he didn't have to wait around because I would be happy to convey this. There's a strip of lawn between, or lawn and landscaping between Duncan's and the fire department that is on your site plan as green. And the chief said that they had a handshake agreement made years ago about the Dunkin' Donuts maintaining that, and he said it hasn't been.
Okay.
So I told him that we would make it a permit condition that that landscape island that separates Dunkin' Donuts and the fire department be maintained, and whatever needs to be brought it up to. I looked at the aerial, and it does look a little overgrown. I don't remember going to the site it being a problem, but the chief would know better than I would, so.
To be honest with you, I've never actually looked at that area, so I
It's
couldn't.
on that, I think it's on that little.
Yeah, it's on top of the wall.
So I still have, I can pull it up here. What number is this, 125?
125, yes.
It is just going to be maintaining all landscape areas, including the northern wall.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's hard to see. We're talking about this stretch in the back here.
Another question was, does the easement go all the way past Montori, or does it stop at the break in the property?
So according to the chief, the easement goes all the way past. And what I had said to him was, we can ask Dunkin' Donuts to do their portion. Do we know, does Mike Montori still own the convenience store and gas station?
The gas station property has been transferred over to another entity.
Okay.
Mr. Montori still at this point owns the Dunkin' property.
I knew that, but obviously, it'd be part of the permit condition, so it'd be, Dunkin' Donuts that we would do it, but yeah.
And the easement, are we talking about the shared easement between the two property lines, or is there another easement?
No, the running across the.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're talking about two different things. You're talking about the in-between.
I'm actually talking about the landscaping all the way through behind. Nope, the other way. There you go.
Yeah, right. So like, my thought process was, we handled, because it's this property owner, we handle the section behind this property. And then I had mentioned to the chief that he might want to, in coordination with community development or the mayor's office, reach out to whoever owns the gas station and say, you haven't been maintaining.
Well, I just wanted to confirm that the easement was not also there, that goes behind it.
Oh, it doesn't show on their site plan, so it doesn't show on your site plan, right, the actual easement itself?
No.
I mean, in your conceptual drawing, it shows, let me pull it up, the rendering, it shows that as green space as part of this. But it doesn't specifically lay out where the easement is.
I think it's in the best interest of the Dunkin' owners to, keep the site clean. They're doing not to say a little investment into this property, so I don't see them having an issue having their landscaping group maintain that strip.
Yeah.
And I'll look into the easement. I didn't know if didn't realize there was an easement there, but
the chief was telling me that that there was a handshake agreement made many years ago, and I don't know if it was with Duncan specifically or Mr. Montori.
Mr. Montori, that's what former Chief Roy said.
Oh, okay. So if that were the case, they basically said it wasn't really being maintained, so they try to, but they can only do it on like work, volunteer work days or whatever, and they can't keep up.
Yeah.
So I told them that at least the section behind you, because it's in front of us for this, we'll just make that a permit condition that be maintained in a healthful state, the same way we do the other landscaped areas.
Are you going to put signage up for the right turn only? not just on the marking on the ground, so, because that's not going to work when it just snows out.
I believe there would be one on the stop sign location. If it's not on the plan, we're more than happy to put that kind of formal sign up.
Okay. Just want to say that there's. Right turn only, add sign, signage. Till someone, runs over it.
It's more
I don't even know how many
hits
people
it.
go over the curbing. When they come out of there, they go to take.
Yeah. It's usually when the plow truck hits it, that right-hand turn sign goes away very quickly.
Some of the conditions from when we last looked are still applicable. Is the queuing lane for the order window and pickup window may not encroach onto either Main Street or North Street. Just making sure that occurs. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, there's a demand out there, but you're going to have to try to mitigate that.
Yep.
Particularly because of the fire department right there. They have to make sure they can maintain access on North Street. Replace damaged and or displaced sidewalk and curbing along Main Street.
Yep.
And so in front of the property. So I know you're going to be filling in pieces, so any.
Yeah, we're going to be removing quite a bit of it to set new granite curbing and other curbing elsewhere. So the likelihood of that sidewalk being destroyed is, I'm not going to say little. So if it is damaged, obviously, it will be replaced on our terms, if you will.
There was adequately addressed DPW wastewater standards and shared sewer connection on the site between 75 and 125 Main Street. Those were comments way back then, so I'm not sure if I'm sure they would be the same comments.
Correct. So there is a shared sewer line between the gas station facility as well as this. As part of the overall redesign, we're reconnecting their line into the new line that we're constructing, so that, because currently it's a combined sewer line separating everything. So pretty much the line's going to be cut and connected to the new system at the property line. So we do have agreements set with everybody. Once everything gets going, that easement will be monumented permanently.
What else did we have? Repair the error on the site plan near the handicap space. I think that was the same one. Carry over. That was also just to fix that. So that's where the pedestrian walkway is. So they remove the curbing and the landscape spot there. So it's actually a path.
I'm okay with the plan in general, and I think anytime you can add more green space and landscaping to a project, I'm all for it. And this will certainly improve that corner an awful lot. Unfortunately, the part about the whole plan that I really think is unfortunate is there's a large population in that greater area that walk to Dunkin' Donuts. And it's too bad that you can't have some kind of a situation there where you're going to cater more to the public that are going to be walking to that restaurant. I can understand John Fitch Highway. There's very little foot traffic along the highway, so you're not going to get a lot of people that are going to walk up to the takeout window and try to get a coffee. However, on this Main Street location, there's a lot. And you're going to have a big population in Fitchburg that's really going to miss going there and grabbing their coffee. And it's unfortunate that the developers can't come to some kind of a hybrid solution that would allow people to walk up to that window a little more welcoming and get an order from the street, and maybe even have to the right, where there's a pretty big open green space, some outdoor seating to accommodate those people. Main Street in Fitchburg is trying right now in a lot of locations to make Main Street look alive and make it look like there's people visiting Main Street and enjoying Main Street. And this is nothing more than another drive-through. And I know it's the business model and the business plan, but your plan is not really taking into consideration the people that live in that area that depend on walking up to that window to get their coffee. And I think it could be done a little bit better and more welcoming to those people that want to walk up to the window.
But isn't there a walk-up window?
There is a walk-up window, but I was going to say the other side to that is, and I'm not speaking ill of Dunkin' Donuts in any way, but it might help our independent coffee house, which is 100 feet from there, 200 feet from there.
And I was already thinking about that, and they have an option.
Yeah.
However,
But there's
it's a lot
also-
more expensive.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
So people that are used to going to Dunkin' Donuts, they want their Dunkin' Donuts coffee and their donut, and they would love to sit down and eat it right there.
I hear you.
There's also an outdoor seating area proposed here on the left. It's not in the landscaped area, it's to the left. What you see, the brick, that's the
Tables?
table.
There will be some form of a table there, yeah. So
One
there's been,
more? How many?
I don't know how many specifically, but I do know there's been issues with vandalism in that area, and that's their primary.
That area should be identified and on the site plan with, as far as how many outdoor tables there would be and how they would be placed. We certainly want more than one.
Yep. Okay.
A grouping of, maybe 3 anyway.
So we do want to see the outside seating.
And I'm not sure how the construction of the Dunkin' Donuts is as far as moving forward, but there might be some kind of a more welcoming option for a window, rather than something, 4 feet off the ground with a little window. Maybe something can be done there to welcome people to walk up to that space.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the elevation looks like, or is it on the other?
I can try and pull up a picture of the existing one.
If you go into the planning narrative package that we provided, there are colored.
Application submittal package?
Yes, that one.
Okay.
It's a couple sheets down, but it does have the architectural floor plan as well as elevations.
Okay. Yeah, I got it right here.
There we go.
Let me see if I can flip this first before I share it. All right. Share screen. And I am going to apologize ahead of time. You're going to have to crane your neck because my screen will not let me flip it. It is
the west elevation right there.
This one right here.
It's going to be west elevation? It looks like the end of the building instead of the
It is
side.
the end of the building, facing west.
Oh, well, where is it when I'm looking at the other plan then? I'm assuming it's like...
Left-hand side of the building when you're looking at the plans. It's right here.
It
that's
faces North Street.
Oh, that's the walk-up window. Why am I just thinking it was on the north side, like the...
No, it's facing North Street.
Okay, so it's going to be the air. So you'd walk across, or go on the sidewalk, or the walkway around the building, and be right in the front where the tables would be.
Good.
Window. So that's a dedicated walk-up window versus the others for the autos.
Correct. The windows on the north side of the structure are exclusively drive-through.
Do you see that, Peter?
Yes, yeah. And maybe it could be identified with some signage to make it clear that this is a walk-up window.
Okay.
Is it, Peter, is it satisfactory to you if it was a permit condition to say multiple exterior tables?
3 or more.
3 or more.
And, I'm talking the kind of tables that can't be vandalized, concrete, something that can't be moved, something that's permanent, not a picnic table. They can be put in the back of someone's pickup truck.
I'm just trying to think about, it's like, in practicality speaking, what do you think after you get your product from the walk-up window, And it's nice that it's like all landscaped around. Are you going to have actually, and I would encourage you, going to have some taller landscaping, like height to go around there? Because you're going to go to the walk-up window, they're just going to walk right across the landscaping through the parking lot to North Street. They're not going to walk back out around.
I know there's a small fence around it, but we can, when we get into the final landscaping layout and stuff, have them put more shrubbery, if you will, rather than grass between the fence and the...
Yeah, I think you're going to have something substantive there, of even like boxwoods or some kind of solid landscaping fence and a boxwood to kind of go around some of that too. Otherwise, people are going to just walk right across that over to the North Street. They're not, so either that or direct them right back out to that pedestrian walkway. I'm just trying to think, can you think about how the pedestrians are going to walk across this from there? And it's like they're going to come off of there, and then they're going to walk through the drive-through, up the driveway to get to North Street.
Right. No, it makes sense. I mean, you can, it takes a year or two to come in, but you could do like a box, like you said, you could do some sort of junipers or boxwoods that frame that corner to keep people from, going over there, and those are easy to maintain.
Or either that, think about this, a little bit just to the north where the...
Want me to pull up?
Yeah, where the outdoor seating area is, right, where the window is, that you have a walkway that goes across over to North Street. So that if you can either come that way and then you can traverse the site downward, because that's just going to be the path.
The path of least resistance.
It's just going to, people want to go out that driveway over there.
Well, I mean, the biggest problem is the crosswalk.
They're going to be all walking across the travel lanes and everything.
Yeah, the problem is the crosswalk is at the corner of Main and North. So, it's difficult.
They're not going to exit back the way they came in from Main Street and walk all the way around the corner on the sidewalk on North Street to go up. They're gonna step off the curb right in the drive-through and try to walk up the exit. So, do you think maybe if it, ideally it would be great if everybody did that, but
I agree.
The perfect world,
so, Paul, is your suggestion like right? I don't know if you can see where my cursor is.
Nope. Not even.
No.
Further up, where the drive-through went. Go to the pickup window.
Yep.
Right there. Now just to the upper left, it's like make an opening right there, or to the left of it to go across over to see the exit to North Street.
You want to go this
somehow
way?
Make another little hashed mark, a pedestrian way to.
The problem is you don't want to direct them there because you don't want to direct them to walk within the traffic aisle.
That's my...
Yeah, it is right across from the drive.
That's why my suggestion would be to come across here and you have a decorative landscaping, connection through here where you have pavers or walkway because you're encouraging them to get to that corner. That's only if you think it's necessary. I think... Because we're going to require the landscaping to be maintained and to be in a healthful condition, if people walk a lane through it, they're going to have to dig it up and redo the landscaping.
They're not going to. They're just going to walk through it and create paths through it like they do.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
It's not going to be whether you maintain it. It's too low. You have to actually put fencing and enough height or solid shrubberies that they're not going to walk through it. You have to, and that's going to have to be like all the way around to your entrance point where your walkway is to go in, because they're just going to step off, walk right through it, and go there.
Why not move that walk-up window right to the front of the building, right to the left of where it says kitchen, and make a walkway directly to Main Street? Straight shot, keep the patio where it is. They can walk from Main Street up a direct walkway to the window.
You're saying right in line with that crosswalk that goes north-south?
Right. So walk right to the window and then keep the patio to the left. At least it's more presentable.
Is that doable with the layout of the building?
I know the interior of these buildings are very meticulous. They try to keep the pickup window and the effectively both pickup windows right next to one another for the ease of the workers going back and forth. The interior of this building is as small as you can possibly get because of the nature of these kinds of uses.
Right.
So you have storage and meal prep areas and everything like that in that area. So moving and shifting everything around makes life very difficult inside the structure, and you kind of, it's going to not work as well with the overall layout of the.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Still possibly, the idea of a straight shot walkway from Main Street straight into the building might be easier than coming in through the North Street entrance.
Well, no one's coming in through North Street.
Yeah.
They're coming in through Main Street, but they are going to want to exit, is what I'm saying. So they're going to get their product, and they're not going to go to the path, they're going to go the path of least resistance, because they want to go up North Street or cross over Street, so they're not going to go back and down around again, for the most part. So all I'm saying is that you either put some nice decorative fencing of that 4-foot height, or something like black decorative fencing, like to see, like around the patio area, and then have landscaping like around that, well, you have that to make it so you're there to sit down and.
I think it might make sense for us to extend the fence line that goes around the patio, do the 4-foot fence, shrubberies, box hedges, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Have that extend all the way back to the crosswalk, so that you're forcing
them to come around.
Forcing them to go around, and then.
Yes.
I think that's probably the best way. I'm hesitant to try to put too much people mixing with vehicles entering and exiting the site at the North Street entrance.
But do you want to? But that would be a good way to direct them, and then you put the fencing on the interior and the landscaping to the outside. Yeah.
How about this?
Yep.
Permit condition is to investigate and then install pedestrian traffic patterns so as to not disturb the landscaping or walk within the vehicle travel lanes.
I don't know if we have to change anything. What we just said, make sure you just put a fence up around that.
That's fine too. If that's what you want to. I was trying to solve what Peter was saying and what you were saying with, let them come up with a suggestion to.
Well, we don't want to. If we said, then we'd just have them come back with not just investigate. It's kind of like we're trying to approve the site plan, so we want to be a little more.
Correct. And my only concern would be to rephrase that in designated walking paths within the travel lane, because the crosswalk does unfortunately walk through the travel.
Yeah, right. See what you're saying.
Yeah, just
if you're okay with just fencing, I'm fine with that. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, we just want to make sure it's directing people, so it's not direct.
When you're talking about fencing, we're talking about the low, like aluminum, black vinyl, black aluminum or wrought iron fencing.
Right.
Yes. So the fencing and shrubbery or landscaping plantings will direct pedestrian traffic through the designated pedestrian paths.
Right.
Okay.
So in order to get there, that's the only way you can go in and out, is that through that present path.
Make it human proof.
I do agree with Peter that you should at least float the idea that I think not only does it make more sense if you're having a walkway to have that window right at that walkway, but it also then encourages people to funnel back towards Main Street instead of going, like Paula said, through landscaping, through, because I think the biggest concern I have is that people are going to try and walk to North Street, and then they're going to be walking in one of those inner-out travel lanes, which is risky to say the least. So if they make the window facing Main Street and you have people walking directly up to that, I think that makes a tremendous amount more sense than where it is now.
No, I would agree with that statement. I think just the building layout is not conducive to that.
Accommodate that.
Yeah, no, I get you.
And I think part of the overall development of the site is that there will be some learning curves. If you think about it, you don't truly want to put a sidewalk too close to that North Street entrance, because people will want to inherently short circuit themselves around. So if you pull up the site plan real quick.
I'm pulling it up right now.
So, for example, if we were to put additional crosswalk or anything like that near where the little car thing is at the entryway into the drive-through lane, further south, page south, if you will, right through that area.
Yep.
Right now, as the site's laid out, you have pedestrians going into a lot of traffic, or if you will, they'd be looking at two cars effectively coming right at them. It kind of inhibits the tendency to want to short-circuit themselves and get around. So I think trying to put all that landscaping in that area and directing people through designated crosswalks would be the best bet. Extending the side or the fences and the shrubberies in that area will push people into the designated areas, and eventually, hopefully, human nature will get used to themselves after a while, and they'll start going down their proper paths.
Yeah, they'll come out and they're going to try to walk up just the driveway coming in.
Yeah.
But they do it now.
It's going to.
Yeah.
I mean.
They're going to take the shortest path.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
Like that. But
The only thing I would leave you with is to put some careful thought into the walk-up window and just make it look welcoming to people that are walking off the street and not just a dead window in the wall. So something there to make it look welcoming to the patrons.
Understood.
You're going to have all this nice landscaping around it and everything, too. For that. Okay, anything else? Was on a, no, it's just addressing all the department comments.
I think the last time it was the fire department requested a turning maneuver analysis. So we provided that as part of this resubmittal and showing that you can get nobody will ever bring it in here, but you can get a ladder truck in and around the site.
Mm-hmm.
You've got multiple access points, too, from pretty large ones.
Yep. There's a fire department right above.
I also see, like, you have the EV designated. Is that, you've got to make them EV ready?
EV capable, yep.
Looks good.
Are they, you know how now they can go from the gas station into is that going to still be?
So.
It's like very light in it.
There's a rumble strip that.
It's going to go all the way down?
No, it goes from,
Yeah, I see the rumble strip.
This area all the way up, there's a rumble strip that's going to go what is that, about 2/3 of the site?
Yep.
I mean, I'll leave it to Chris, but I think I remember a conversation before of the access easement requires it to be open between the two properties.
Correct. So there is a cross easement that says nobody can do anything in there besides drive a car. If one party goes against that, then there's repercussions. But that area is intended to remain open to maintain the traffic flow around the backside of that gas station.
I do want to say, because it hasn't been noted, but only because we already are previously looked at a plan similar, getting rid of that exit at that light is going to be fantastic.
Yes.
Because there is rarely a time where I get to that light where someone isn't trying to squeeze out into traffic, and it's worse when they're trying to cut all the way across 3 lanes of travel.
Oh, and the horns and everything.
Yeah, so that's a very welcome change.
Yes.
You could say it's a death trap.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah,
I would never take a left out of there.
Yeah.
And you are somewhat narrowing up the driveway that goes in off of Main Street,
Correct.
too. That's good, too.
And when we had initial conversations with DPW, Nick's first comment was, thank you.
Yeah, no,
so.
Because there's also a larger one, just, maybe, 20 or 30 feet down, that is shared kind of with the gas station of an entrance, and then you've got the designated, this go to Dunkin' Donuts, and this goes up.
Yep.
If you miss the first shot, that's the second shot to try to get back in, because it's, you're not too far from the intersection still, and the backing up traffic trying to turn in, depending on the time of day. But and I'm also glad about the escape lane that goes around, because anybody coming in through that would have to go around in order to get into the queue.
Correct.
You're going to have is there a designated signage in that direction to tell people if they're entering that way that not to go left? Or actually you can to park if you're going to.
Correct, yeah,
to the
there's
window.
24 feet behind the stall, so that's your traditional
Or to
parking lot
go
area.
around, I guess it's going to be intuitive where you have to go to get to the drive-through.
Yeah.
Circle building.
There might be a bit of a learning curve with people once they get back into it, but the regulars will get the path going down correctly.
And what type of exterior lighting do you have on the?
So we have sconce lighting around the building, and there's a few pole-mounted lightings in the landscaping area just to illuminate the drive-through lanes.
There is sconce lighting? Oh, so it's a little black, okay.
Yeah, little wall pack
They're
lights.
are they?
Down-facing.
Down-facing, yep.
Okay.
Nice sky compliant, all that stuff.
Okay. All right. Does anybody else have any questions?
Nope.
All right, anybody in virtual land? I'm just going to ask the question.
There is someone on there now.
There is, okay.
But no,
Not-
no,
not-
no
Not
hand-
for this
no hands
project.
raised.
Okay, all right, anybody? Mary Jo?
Mary Jo Bohart, Economic Development Director. I had a couple of comments, and Peter Capadagli touched on it a bit, but I just wanted to say one added thought. I realize this new business model that the franchisee is implementing, the John Fitch example, here's the second one in Fitchburg, it's probably their new way, and I get it. But it's a vastly different environment in the downtown. It's pedestrian rich. We are right across from a regional transit hub and at the gateway to a university, the only one in the region. The reason I say that is what works on John Fitch without too many problems is not necessarily going to be as easy here, and it's all about the pedestrians. So I'm glad to hear there will be at least some seating, but since it's not on this plan, and the consumer cannot go in the building, the site plan to me feels like it needs to be more literal about what is the furniture. This is a big one. Where are the trash receptacles? Because the businesses and other things in the periphery, whether it's CVS, the firehouse, the gas station, car wash that is on the Montori side there, they're all going to be burdened by folks where if they get their food and then they got to scram because they can't come in the building, there's nowhere to sit, and there's certainly no bathrooms, and there's no trash cans. So you can imagine how this could, if not well thought out, cause a lot of burden to the immediate area, in addition to people possibly getting hurt if they're kind of walking in car lanes and so on. So I just think that the furniture, and when I say that, what I really mean is whatever seating is going to happen, it really needs to be shown, and I'm just extremely curious. Maybe it needs a bit more trash receptacles than you would typically see at a Dunkin', because you can't go inside. So if you can't go inside, you're going to eat whatever it is and throw your papers wherever because, you're all outside. Also, and I was curious how pedestrian queuing might work, because we've all been inside this particular Dunkin', and although it has drive-through, you also have people that walk up. So the pedestrian queue, there wasn't a whole lot of talk about that. If the pedestrian queue, wherever it may be, starts to be long enough that it's spilling over to the loop road, that could be a concern. We would like to think if this is a super successful Dunkin', there will be pedestrian queuing, because we've got 44 units of new housing at the former Harper Furniture. We call it Moran Square Apartments. There's a lot more people living right in the periphery, and that will continue to be. That's the whole revitalization of the downtown effort, is a lot more foot traffic. So I just wanted to share that with you. Maybe you can relay it back to the client, which is seating needs to be literally shown, and also more trash receptacles. If this is an outdoor environment where the people are enjoying their food in the great outdoors, because they certainly can't come inside that building, it can't burden people like CVS all of a sudden as people sitting on their wall throwing the trash wherever because there's nowhere else to sit. So I just think we need to be responsible about it. I respect it's the new business model, but this is now an outdoor dining zone, and it needs to have all the features that would entail. Thank you.
Thank you. Will there be trash receptacles?
There would be trash receptacles. I think a route that can be gone through is prior to the issuance of a building permit, a landscaping layout plan for the patio area be provided to the board for final review.
Yeah, showing the location of the tables, style of the tables, and trash locations. Yep, that's what I was going to say.
Well, is there, in this type of a model, anything for, typically when you're inside, you've got like condiments and things like that to go. Is that just going to be, there's no shelf, there's no nothing on the outside, it's just flat. So everything is just right into that bag. There's no exterior.
Typically,
your
that's how
napkins
it
are
works, yeah.
what you get in the bag.
Yep.
I mean, this is a model, too, where they make coffee. You don't add stuff to coffee at Dunkin's. So it's not like the independent places where you get your coffee and then you have to put
Well, you
cream
get donuts
and sugar
and things like, I'm just saying, yeah. right?
No, I'm saying everything
Oh,
they give you is already made.
Yeah.
The only thing you'd have is like, I don't know, ketchup, or if you did that.
Well, you ask for stuff. I mean,
Right.
they don't have like
Yeah.
extra creamers out. You ask for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with napkins. You'd think
Yeah.
they'd have to be in the bag that they give them to leave.
Yeah.
Right.
I think, you know, I
Well, that
agree. I
promotes
agree with
like
Peter. The point Peter had about the cost being less than some of the independents. I get that. I do also. I mean, we have a coffee place that I believe the one directly across the street, and then we have the one Identity or whatever right down the street, and then we have the public market, which is right there. None of those offer drive-through, and then obviously we have Rise and Grind. None of these other independent companies offer drive-through. So you might have people that use the drive-through, but there are a lot of alternatives for people that want to go somewhere else and sit down. But I do agree there should be a seating area. There is still a pickup area, so people can still go there if they still want to, walk up. I think it might just give a little competitive edge to some of the non-corporate entities.
Personally, I'm not inclined to support the plan as is. I think a lot of thought was put into this plan using the business model that you'd like to see, and not the plan that's best for the city of Fitchburg. And I'm not prepared to vote for this particular rendition. I'm all for voting for a new Dunkin' Donuts in that location, but I really want to see a plan that's going to have some enhanced benefits for people walking up to the window and sitting there and having a cup of coffee. I want that to be a featured part of this development, and unless I see that on a plan, I'm simply not going to support this as it is.
Okay. And then there was I know the prior plan had indoor seating, so they're not going back to that particular model. What made them change their mind then from the last one that was approved to this?
Let's just say several patrons of the facility damaged components inside the structure.
Okay.
And leave it at that.
Not to say, it is a challenging location
It is, yes, and that was
for loitering and such. So I can understand where looking at this model to not have as much of on the pedestrian or the loitering approach by having too much. But if you I do want just making sure people traversing the site are also safe,
Yes.
in a safe manner.
Out of curiosity, because I didn't read the form of intent, what's the reason for the special permit component of this?
drive-through.
What's that?
The drive-through.
Oh, the drive-through, okay.
Otherwise, it'd just be site plan
That's why I asked.
and for that. So there's that piece. Lynn or Alex, do you have any feedback you'd like to share?
No.
I don't. Oh, sorry, Alex.
No, go ahead, Ellen. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I don't have a problem with the way it is being presented. I know that I live closer to the Dunkin' Donuts on Franklin Street, and no matter what time of day I go, there's no one in there. It's normally people just going through the drive-through, so I think this is just a trend in the way that coffee places are going. So I know there are other board members that have an issue with some of the aspects of it. I don't have an issue with the plan as it's presented.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is, it's sad to see that, the indoor dining part of the thing is disappearing, but like Lynn said, most of the areas are going drive-through, and, on the indoors, they're practically ghost towns. So unless people are going up to do pickups. So I completely understand, and I don't have a problem with the changes that are being made.
Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts?
The only thing I'll add to that is, the John Fitch Highway and the Franklin Road Dunkin' Donuts, they're going to have limited, if any, walk-in patrons. We're talking right here, the heart of Main Street, with pedestrians walking around everywhere. And with all the developments that are on the books right now in downtown Fitchburg, there are going to be even more. So to lose an establishment like a Dunkin' Donuts that everyone depends on, everyone wants their Dunkin' Donuts coffee, and to not have that option anymore of picking up a cup of coffee in comfort and sitting somewhere, it doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, it is. I understand that too. The lost pedestrian aspect. I'm still trying to think about how to get over to North Street, like for the well.
It's very easy.
If you're from the fire department walking over there, how else are you going to go back? It's like it's like you're going to walk through the driveway.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to walk that way. So it's just trying to, it's like, this is the practicality that's going to happen. I know it's designed for traffic, but it's like people are going to be walking in through North Street all the time from that spot. So it's like, how can we get them over there a bit safer? I know it's right in front of like where the exit is for the drive-through.
But they're going to have a fence around it. So it's not, unless they're going to jump the fence.
Well, that's saying you're preventing, well, that's what the original. It's like, do you make an opening on that side for, exiting out to go over towards North Street, but then you will be crossing right in front of the exit for the drive-through, but at least people will be stopped to see you before they, commence, because they're stopped at the window, so they can see you crossing in front, not like driving through at that point. Just want to. It's like the plan looks nice, but that's the kind of that practicality piece, because it's like, you just know everybody's going to be walking there and it's going to be a danger. And this is the opportunity to take a look at it. So how else can you take a look at it? Because it's like, great, it looks good, but anybody have any other thoughts on that? Can you just modify like the area over by, put a smaller sidewalk over by where the dumpster location is, where that shrubbery?
Yeah, I mean,
like
if you
put a walkway over from like that over to there,
If you wanted to do something, the only thing I think you can do is just connect the sidewalk to the end of this dumpster location here, to encourage people, like, this is how you don't walk in the outbound travel lane.
But then you put see the hash marks, you go put a hash mark right over to that corner where the window is, so that you have an exit. I know, it's like there, and then you can also go to Main Street, so you can.
Yeah, no, you would have to put a break in the landscape, do a crosswalk, additional signage at the window saying, watch for
pedestrians.
Watch for pedestrians, and then you lose the green space against the
dumpster spot.
By the dumpster spot. But it's it's enclosed by a vinyl fence, so it's not like a eyesore, if you will. And then you would have a second sidewalk there, and that would connect to the North Street.
Does that sound like?
I agree. I mean, you can do your best to corral them to where you want them to go, but people are just going to.
Well, it's just like, if you're in any of up the street, you're going to not walk all the way around the corner and in. You're just going to go in. You're going to walk in through the driveway. So it's like, how do you do that with trying to avoid the? It's fine when there's nobody in the queue. Other than that, you're just walking through. The travel lanes.
I don't think that there's a great solution. If that's what you want to do, I wouldn't disagree with it. It's fine. I mean, you hate the idea of adding another walkway through a parking area, because then you're just directing people all over the place.
Right. So there's like this.
It's a tough thing to do. I 100% get what you're saying. If there's a significant amount of walking traffic from North Street. I don't know how many students walk down there. I do know North Street is almost entirely owned by the college now. So, maybe people from Lake Snow, maybe they would come from that area. But they would also could just as easily be coming from Main Street all the way down to that front crosswalk, so I don't know.
And what if, your observations, what are your thoughts on? I know this was like the original plan, but it's like, what do you?
Yeah, I think my concern, I kind of agree, is you don't want pedestrian traffic going crazy in a drive-through lane area.
Right.
Having not looked at it in that viewport, if you will, I can't 100% say that maybe that's the best route to go. So, you know, we've heard some concerns by several board members relative to increasing the outdoor amenities and stuff like that, trying to enhance the pedestrian movement through the area so you have access at least along both streets, if you will. So with that being said, you know, we can take a second look at it. I'm hesitant to give you 100% certainty. Yeah, I'm going to be able to make the North Street entrance work. But at this point, I think, you know, we can request a continuance and we can try to improve the pedestrian component of the site a little bit further.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, I assume you're hoping spring start for construction?
Reality is they wanted to start back in, you know, hopefully by December.
Okay.
So if that's the case, obviously it's going to delay the project. Like I said, this is kind of they realized the permit was expired at the last second, and unfortunately, yeah, they come through the process.
Well, then they changed it.
Well, everything kind of fed into one another at
Yeah.
the same time. So that's what precipitated this change is all these other components adding into one another. So
Right.
the permit was expired. He had to go through the process anyway. They just did it.
I mean,
So that's kind of like, well, when you move the indoor component, they're kind of like, now we have a little more emphasis on the pedestrian aspect and outside seating. So now we've got more to look, kind of think about.
I think it gives you an opportunity to see if you can find a creative way to get access to North and Main, walking traffic, and show, where the table is going to be located, where the trash receptacles are being located, what the tables might look like. I know Duncan's done this before because I've seen sites with them. So, give some, decorative tables and chairs and see permanent, ideally, see what they, where they'd be, what they'd look like. And you can make notes on the plan about, of course, I guess it's already on there because it's listed as green space, that north section along the fire department about maintaining that, landscaping island, adding the right turn only sign to the bottom on the Main Street exit. And then if you decide that, like what Paul had suggested, fencing some of those landscaped areas with decorative fencing to kind of keep pedestrians from cutting through landscaped areas. That might make sense too.
Yeah, however high, the standard 4 feet, but if they, whatever is going to be more aesthetically based upon the building and stuff too. You don't want to look like it's all in a cage area, but.
Understood. Yeah, no, North Street access, enhanced landscaping, fence, pedestrian directions, layout for the patio, all these kinds of notes. I have them all written down. So
if you forget anything, you can always sit through the pain of watching the meeting again on FATV.
Well, I know 8:50 now, so I got that. But yes, I think I have all the comments and concerns from the board. I should be able to address them by the next meeting.
Thanks, Chris.
No problem.
Make a motion to continue unless you have anything else you want to handle.
Second. Motion's been made to continue. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say opposed. Well, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay.
There's no, I don't know when the time frame, but since this has a site plan component, there's no constructive issue with constructive approval of a site plan?
No.
Okay, because there's a special permit as part of it? Okay, I just want to make sure.
No, it's all tied together.
That's fine.
The ordinance was updated to make sure that it's all tied together, so if you look at it as a whole.
Yep, that's good. Thanks, Chris.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yep. All right, we have other business this evening. And
Skip to the second one.
Yeah, we are. And we have an applicant. We have Brian Roberti. for a site plan review for a greenhouse replacement at 776 Ashby State Road, which is...
Thank you for having me, and thank you for taking the time. So, my name is Brian Roberti. I own the carriage shed on 776 Ashby State Road, 27 years in business. I deal with the city of Fitchburg with bark mulch, safety chips, and everything. However, this was the first year they didn't come and do any business with me. But that's not here nor there. I started this project in November of last year, so it's almost been a year since I started this venture. The structure I'm trying to put on, my old one was dilapidated. It was a wood structure. It was 25 feet by 50 feet long. The new building that I'm trying to put up is 24 feet wide by 84 feet long. I went to the zoning board in May, and it passed unanimously 5-0. All in favor for it. I got my building permit issued on October 1st from Mr. Zamel with the stipulation of coming to the Conservation Committee, which I did, and it passed also 5-0. And then the last checkbox I had to do was come to the planning board, which I'm here now, and I know this is not a formal meeting. It was a thank you for having the time to have a meet and greet and to go through this. I had the pleasure of talking to Paul, and he was very, very wonderful conversation. He led me in the direction of where we should maybe consider of doing. I had a surveyed plan, and it was stamped, and it pretty much showed everything of the old greenhouse, where the new greenhouse is going, all the setbacks and whatnot. It shows my store, which is 18 by 24 feet. It's a carriage shed, and that's the name of my business. And that is the only dwelling that is on my property. The land is pretty accessible. There's 400 acres in a land trust behind me. I own the property and the house since 1974. My father built it. And there's land to the left of me. And all I'm surrounding is by acres of land. Nobody's ever going to be building to the left of me. Nobody's going to be on the right of me because I own that property. And behind me is Fitchburg High School in the woods and acres behind me. So there's no neighbors around. I'm really I'm kind of struggling right here a little bit because the greenhouse company, the structure that I bought, he put it on hold for me to purchase. And I tore down my building right now, so I don't have a building except for the front boards of the front of the building, which I left, thank God, to show my existing old building. However, I'm running out of time here. I know it's not your problem. However, it's going to take about 12 to 14 weeks to get this structure sent to me. And right now, I don't know if I'm going to have a building for the spring to keep my flowers protected. I do not propagate, and it's a storage facility, which I stated to the zoning board, and I listed it was a non-conforming greenhouse. That was in May when I went to that, and it passed, and the Conservation Committee passed. Now I'm here. Paul was saying a couple things that he brought up about parking. Now, it's a small store. I've been there, like I said, for 27 years, never had a problem with parking. And the most that I get would be maybe 3 cars at a time, maybe 4. The driveway could hold about 5. We agreed maybe if I could put a sign, parking in the rear, because I have plenty of land out in the back. And he said something about the frontage of my store. We measured it, and it came out to like about 44 feet. He said with the city ordinance, or however the lingo was, 36 is the ideal number. So he had some great ideas about maybe putting some mulch or a little curb like I have right here where my sign is.
If you wait 1 second, Brian, I'll pull up a picture of your property so that people can see what we're talking about. Just bear with me for 1 second.
How many customers do you mention that you normally see?
Maybe about 3 or 4 at a time, and that would be stretching it. I mean, when COVID was around, we did great business, unfortunately, because people were staying home and they were doing their thing. Now we're getting back to pre-COVID, where the economy is struggling. People are scared. It's an election year, and I can see a big change right now. I'm going to be closing down for the season. I'm a seasonal business. I open usually in, depending on weather, April. Some years was March when the weather was good, and I close about another week. I'm going to be closing for the season, so I'm there seasonal. Yeah, that's about all I can really state.
What is the, on the plan, there's a circle,
Yeah.
and is that like a present landscape island right now?
I got it right here. Bear with me for one.
I just wanted to show one thing, like when Paul, excuse me.
go ahead.
See, that was the curbing right there. Now, Paul did say something about maybe cutting the frontage off, which I wasn't too eager to do that because, again, 4 or 5 cars can fit, 5 cars can fit in my parking going like this.
Do you go straight in or?
Straight on in.
Okay.
And 27 years it's been like that because I'm a dream, that's my industry. Now, if I had to cut it, which I really didn't want to, because I have an ample amount of land in the back, which I will show you in that.
Okay.
That curbing, if I was to cut it 8 feet this way and run the curbing from to there and cut it to, say, where the mum is,
Yep.
I think that would, what Paul was saying.
It would just kind of reduce that front.
Yes. Well, that's exactly what we talked about. So this is a better picture. So this is a picture looking towards the site. Obviously, this back left corner over here. Let me make this. Oh, it is full screen on my side. This back left corner over here is the front of the greenhouse you tore down.
It's still there. Excuse me.
Right.
I
It's
still left
It's
that.
the front of the old greenhouse. The rest of the greenhouse is gone. This is the store. So this picture is the actual road frontage. So when I met with Brian, obviously, because I can't speak for the board, I said these are some of the things we look at. One of them is, so city code has a maximum curb cut of 36 feet. So I said to Brian, I said, if we want to make sure that we can check off all the boxes, let's just take this landscape island that he has and just move it out. I think it was about 8 or 10 feet.
Make it deeper.
Right, make it come to where the back of my car, that red car is mine, make it come to the back of the car and over, and it doesn't impact traffic at all. Matter of fact, that corner, even if you're coming from Ashby, because I did it again this weekend, if you're coming from Ashby, even if we're out 10 feet, it wouldn't cause a problem. And if we're talking about just doing like something like what he has there, which is just, landscaping blocks or even a mulch bed, if someone drives over it, they're not going to pop a tire or cause any sort of major damage. So that was one of the things. And again, I just said that just in the event it came up for the planning board because I wanted Brian to be prepared. The other thing we had discussed is, so obviously this is the parking area, and behind this open sign is Route 31. We had talked about, hey, why don't you're going to have a nice brand new greenhouse in the back. People might want to load up next to that greenhouse where they're going to get all their product. Why don't we create the actual parking plan to show on the plan as in the back so that you're not have any chance of people backing out into 31 or any of that. So we had crafted kind of a rough conceptual plan. And this is by no means, obviously, to any sort of spec because I drew it with just, hold on, bear with me for 1 second. Where we have, here's the front entrance. So you cut this in, a few feet or however it is, a landscape island with plants or planters. And you have the road which already exists, the driveway which already exists. This is already cleared area, it's gravel. Where you just show on a plan a couple space, whatever Brian decides, a couple space.
I think about 5 I thought would be suffice.
Yeah, whatever you decide. So I'm not concerned with demand because I think Brian had said to me max peak demand is 3 to 4 people. So if you had 5 spaces, I think that covers it. And you just show it on a plan saying this is a gravel parking area. There's no expectations of it being paved or anything. It's just people that want to load their car next to the greenhouse after they pay, that's where they would do it. So
is the store, the shed, the area where people pay, like that's where the You have a counter?
I do. Mostly, though, like I said, I sell vegetables, and a lot of it's cash, so I usually have the cash on me. That is my main building. That's 18 by 24, and that's the carriage shed, and that is the only building that I have left. You can see the old building there, which was 25 feet wide, 50 feet long. The new building was clearly stated. It's going to be set further back, about 15 to 20 feet in the plan that it shows it, and it would be more room for cars to come in. There's the access road. They can drive in, turn right around, and head right back onto 31 without backing up. And again, if you see this aerial shot,
I can pull up the area.
Yeah, I mean, the land, cars can turn in and turn out. I mean, the city used to come in with their dump trucks.
I can tell you because I tested it for the board that, and I don't know if anyone's been there, but I met with Brian a few Fridays ago, that when I tested it, you could even turn around. Brian, what's the address again?
776. Well, it's actually zeroed, believe it or not, and that's what my taxes are. But as far as I knew 27 years ago, the house is 776. So
yeah, no problem. I just need to pull it up on GIS.
So on the plot plan, it's the circle. It's like a little flat landscape.
A little island.
It just looks like there's an opportunity there that if that was the pushback, that you'd be able to pull in and have like 3 spaces kind of there. It's like it's not big enough. It's like you can't drive around it. So it's like if you can't drive around it, would it be advantageous just to kind of push it back a little bit so you can make maybe some to a couple?
I definitely could do that, yeah.
Then you can still have the rear, but it looks like you might benefit from having it. Because right now, you would try to come in, as a customer, and I would just try to park somewhere.
Sure,
front,
sure.
Just kind of looking at your stuff you've got up front.
Yeah, in the island, I usually put like a palm tree in there with some plants and hanging baskets all around it. So
I can tell you, I'll show you first the picture of, that's what you're talking about. That's the circle island there, so there's basically concrete curb stops around it.
Use the concrete curb stops for in front of where the parking.
But what I was going to say was, hold on, I'm trying to pull up the better picture of. I was trying to encourage like a designated parking spot in the rear, so we don't have to worry about it. But even if you look at this space, there's sufficient room to pull in. I didn't even pull in all the way. There's sufficient room to pull in and back out without going anywhere near 31. So even if you wanted to do that, it's not a problem with that landscaping island the way it is now. I was, like I said, I had the difficult task of meeting with him and trying to predict what the planning board was going to ask. So I figured it was safer to say, on a site plan, your parking's in the back where there's no risk of anything. It's not near butters. It's just easier to show it back there than to show it in the front. So that was my thought process. But
I understand, but practicality, I think some people, I would, park up front.
I think
but if you come in and can, rather than seeing he's parking like straight forward, if you come in and be able to park towards an angle, because then you could just back.
Another good thing too is on that Route 31, to the left and to the right is Fitchburg High School, and to the left you're going to Ashby, and there's a couple hundreds of feet that are straightaways. So there's no bend in that road. Yeah. It's a clear shot, so when you do turn around or back up, you can clearly see to the right and to the left a good stretch of straight road. There is no turns, there's no nothing. So that's another good thing about that road too, where my store is. And again, we're just surrounded by woods. So,
just because I know the site, and I don't think Brian understands what you're saying, so let me answer it. You can't move that landscape. There's trees in that landscaping island. You can see one right there. There's a tree, so without cutting down the tree and moving the what's there, I thought about that. My first thought was that's easy. I was trying to give him,
because it actually, otherwise it'd be great if you could just drive around it, because then you could just drive around and out.
So the thought process was, when I gave Brian the drawing that I had up a minute ago with the parking in the rear, was this is the easiest way on a site to show that there is adequate parking on this site. I agree with you. People are going to pull in nose first. But there's plenty of room there. They won't back out onto 31. If we wanted to show 4 spaces on the front of the site, you could easily do that. I was just trying to stay away from that, encouraging people to, on a site plan.
Well, it's going to show anyway, because it's going to happen. So I know that, but you don't want it in the drive, it's like show a driveway, but people you don't want to park in front of where your driveway is. They're going to park in front of where the area is to go back to behind.
The only thing about what your suggestion of them turning around, some of the people could be like a Magoo, where they really like come at that store, and I can't have them coming that close to that store because, again, I can't predict how people drive. I mean, we're all creatures of habits and whatnot, but some people are scary.
That's why we're here to talk about it. I mean, from limited from what we see here, I just see, I don't know about, you said you could maybe, adjust the island. There might be a ability.
Maybe set it back.
Yeah, just set it back some so that you can, if you do some of the parking or you put even like the concrete
curb stops.
A couple of them.
Yeah.
It's like, park.
Well, I was thinking about actually around the circle.
Even more of an angle, so you're not.
Putting granite. I had some nice granite, and I wanted to dress it up with some granite to really make it pop, and that was another thought of mine of that. I do like the parking in the rear in the fact of, because they can drive in, and again, that land, I mean, that's not even really doing it justice, but this piece, like right here really quick.
Yep.
I mean, there's the road of Route 31 right here. There's my store, and it's the only building there, but my land goes all the way, there's where the mulch is.
Okay,
so
you
they
have
can,
like parking all right
well,
here.
that's where you want maybe do the 5 cars, but they can come in and turn right around and head back out.
Oh.
I mean, there's so much available land.
Without.
So that's how far, so it's hard to see scale-wise, like where.
That's the road, that's my store, and that's the island, and that's the main parking here. But again, with the gravel road, where the city comes in with bark mulch and their dump trucks, I mean, they goes all the way to here.
So like you're right, like it was like not having it to scale, like you can't see how depth, like you mentioned where your car was, how deep that is.
And that's the old greenhouse, and the new one's going to be right. So I still have all this land, so.
But if he pulls that landscaping out further to narrow it, does that eliminate the parking up front? Do we want?
I just think it muddies the conversation. It invites the possibility that they draft something, come back to us next month, and it doesn't look right. There's not a lot of room there unless you get rid of that circular landscape island. You could see it on the screen right now. And again, I think the intention was if one or two people come in and they park there just because they're running into the store, fine. I think the intention is with a greenhouse of this size, because I know I do it at.
I wouldn't know that there's to go back there to the greenhouse to shop or anything.
I'm sorry?
Could customers go into the greenhouse? Or is that really just for?
Well, no. Well, it is. Yeah, that's the hanging baskets are going to be in there. I mean,
I guess so. Just make it clear, like
the greenhouse is the retail floor.
I guess I wouldn't know as the.
No. That's understandable.
I would park up front. I wouldn't know that. Oh, you've got a whole thing out back. So maybe you put some subtypes of signage or something about parking.
Well, parking in the rear with an arrow.
Parking in the rear.
Parking and the greenhouse, like something.
Yeah, we talked about that, and Brian mentioned that at the beginning. That
so you don't know that you have that huge, you'll have that structure.
Well, when you're coming down the road, I mean, eventually down in the springtime when the trees aren't budded, you're going to see this greenhouse, and I've been there for 27 years, so I'm a staple. I mean, I don't, again, I dealt with the city of Fitchburg for 27 years. I dealt with Mayor Bean, Mylott, Whitney, Wong. I mean, that's how long I've been there. It was me and my father. I started this when I was 18 years old. Yeah. But now, again, I have no building. I got a building permit. I went to zoning board. It passed 5-0 unanimously. And then I went to conservation. It passed 5-0. The last checkbox with Mr. Zamel on the thing, it says right here in the highlight, Planning Board, conservation approvals required prior to commencing construction, which I already have a building permit, which they put in the cart before the horse on these things. And again, it's not my problem because I don't know this. I'm a pumpkin salesman. Unfortunately, I should have stayed in school, and my place is beautiful and Lionel.
Let's not get off topic.
Yes,
let's not get off topic. So what I was trying to do when I drafted that was make the easiest plan possible that we could do, that we could come to a consensus.
What does the board have any thoughts on it? And then I would like to. What are your thoughts?
I've been to this establishment many times. never have had a problem even thinking about parking. Your lot is huge.
Yes.
You've got parking everywhere. So you can pretty much designate parking anywhere you want.
With signs saying, you know.
Right. So I see zero problems with this,
Yeah,
and it
I
should
don't
be
either.
approved quickly.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think, I think the general, I think what I had told Brian was that there's plenty of room to do whatever we need to do, and it was merely just checking boxes, and that's all I was trying to do, was to get him to check the right boxes so we could approve it.
Right.
So,
So we typically have, try to shorten up, particularly on the highway, like the frontage, if it's 44 feet wide. In the code, it's 36 feet maximum, kind of like thing for our entrance driveway type of a thing.
Excuse me, now one quick thing, is that because it's a new greenhouse and that's why I'm doing this? Like it was in grandfathered in for the 27 years, no?
anytime we do a site plan, we have to.
Okay, no, I'm just, because I don't know this, I'm just
So that's
asking.
bringing up even new, older ones are being redeveloped and think up to code. It's
Okay.
kind of like, this is what because it's a safety standard.
Okay.
So it's trying to, it's like, oh, the driveway's got to.
I just didn't know by cutting the driveway down, but we're looking for more parking, to me, it's kind of like, but I get it, it's code, so, but
It was
cut,
kind of more to prevent, you don't want people backing, so the code is also, you can't back out into a street. So it's kind of like making sure you can't back out to a street. So that's the other aspect of why, when you're driving in front, where it's like, you've got to make sure, that's just how many feet is there for people to show, just to,
Sure.
back up without going into the, particularly a highway scenario. So you're going to make sure that code piece is being met. And they also narrow up the driveway to more of for directional traffic, because it could be a free-for-all when it's too wide.
Gotcha.
Because then you'll see some businesses that have zero curb cut, and it's 100 feet long, 80 feet wide, and people going in and out all over the place. So you're kind of just trying to direct them, this is the in and the out.
Gotcha.
So that's the aspect with there. So it's not in that regard. Whether or not that's an issue here, we can take a look at that. Then it's making sure you have enough parking for employees
It's only me.
and any other,
I
customers.
had a dog, but I never got another one. I mean, I'm a small farm, and I already spent thousands of dollars with engineers. I mean, I'm not a big,
Loading docks. So these are just.
No.
Right. So these are just the things we look at for site plan. So in the other aspect, probably, and I know I don't want to bring it, but it probably just more recently brought to the attention was just that the setback issue has to be addressed. And
Sure.
I think you're going to be addressing that shortly before you come back to us. And once you resolve that, then we could just we just want to focus in on the parking aspect, because you're.
Do you know what she's referring to?
No.
The rear
Okay.
setback of the building? The rear, okay. I thought it was explained to you today. So the building, what?
Has anybody spoken with you today?
Well, Mary Jo did.
Okay.
Yeah.
But again, when I went to the zoning board, I went for a special permit. They knew that the zone, the line numbers weren't matching up. That's why I went to the special meeting. They knew the whole conformity of this non-conforming green structure. They knew the numbers. I was forthfront on the plan showing the old building at 25 feet by 50 feet, the new building, and those lines never changed. Those numbers never changed, and it passed.
I think, yeah, they probably will. On the confusion aspect, so the special permit for the ZBA was for the non-conforming use of a greenhouse within the rural residential area, which was saying you're expanding the non-conforming use. So what wasn't addressed, what was in the permit that I read, was the setback, because there's a different procedure to address the setback. They can't do it on a special permit. It has to be done in a variance. So there's a different procedure to have to address one versus the other. But it was not spelled out on the checklist, unfortunately.
But why do you even issue building permits?
This is a good question.
I mean, why do you issue permits? I got all this tied up. I mean, it's not my fault that it's incompetent.
It is not your fault.
No,
it's not.
but again, they knew all the dimensions, the board.
So we, as my board, this board.
Your board is different than the zoning.
We are, so we have to, comply with the setback requirement too. So we can't approve a site plan that shows, unless you get a variance to say, yeah, you get relief from the 50 feet, the 22 feet or whatever.
I could have asked for an easement, but the farmer where I used to milk the cows and bale the hay, the farmers are dead. Arnold and Howard Sumner are dead. I mean, there's 400 acres behind me. They knew all this.
We can only look at what's in front of us.
But why are they putting the pins to me? You're forcing me out of business is what you're doing.
I'm just going to speak for my board.
Not you. I'm talking the city of Fitchburg here.
I understand.
But do you?
I'm getting more enlightenment all the time. But I think, did Mary Jo speak with you about getting that variance fast-tracked so that we could make sure the timing is...
But if I didn't have the numbers then and I had to go to a special permit meeting, what is going to change?
Because so the special permit was just expanding the use that you have. It's the use of a greenhouse is not typically allowed in that zone. And so it was, say, grandfathered, so to speak, but you're expanding it because you're growing it bigger. So they allowed that to occur, but they didn't approve. They're not approving the structure. They're just approving that, yeah, you can.
Why wouldn't they tell me this during the meeting?
So they did. I watched it last night, because this just came up yesterday, part of the reason why I hadn't told you. I had told Mary Jo to contact you. It came up last night. I rewatched the zoning board meeting because I watched it live when you were there in May. And Chair Tree, who was, if you remember, she was virtual at the time. She was in California. She had mentioned...
She was in Ireland.
Wherever. She had mentioned that the building didn't meet the setback requirement. And the conversation was, and I'm trying to find the permit.
She passed it, though. She voted yes.
So they passed the nonconformity. They specifically, there's a condition, I'm trying to find it right now. There's a condition that they made that said they specifically didn't address the setback because there wasn't an application for a variance for the setback. So if you rewatch the meeting, it might make sense. And again, this isn't our board, so I'm just trying to convey to you what we heard. I'm read you the permit conditions. So there's two conditions from the ZBA. Okay. The first is a certified plot plan to be provided by the building department prior to building being issued, which I know you did. The second is the allowance of the special permit to expand a pre-existing non-conforming commercial greenhouse use does not include any dimensional relief which otherwise requires a variance.
Again, on the building permit, it don't even say this.
So this is not the planning board. This is the zoning board.
I know this is not you.
Right.
Again, I'm getting backhanded since a year from this town. I can only do what I can do. I'm the only guy that advocates for myself. You're not you.
I know.
Not you. You're forcing me out of business.
I know.
27 years.
We're understanding your confusion because we're just trying to figure out the line ourselves because we want to do right by you too about what the process is. So we're just if we're trying to explain the aspect of it because it maybe wasn't pretty plain or on a checklist previously.
No, it never was. Nothing's been clear. We've been putting the cart before the horse with this whole project. It's all been asked backwards.
Okay.
I've been dealt with 2 building commissioners. 2. I leave messages. He had a 72, not your problem, 72-page code review. Told him the wind shear, the topograph of this, the thousands of dollars I spent. Again, I'm a small pumpkin salesman. I'm up to thousands and thousands of dollars. The city don't even support me with business.
There is an option. There's another option. You move the building 50 feet off the property line and you don't need to ask for a variance. It looks like you have quite a bit of room there. Maybe that's a possibility. If the setbacks to that building are more than 50 feet from the property line, you don't need to ask the ZBA's permission. And then next month we can approve a site plan. So I'm just trying to give you your options. So you have 2 options. Go to the ZBA first before it comes to us and ask them for the variance for the setback. Or present us a plan that shows that building more than 50 feet off the property line, then you don't have to ask the ZBA for permission.
Right.
Those are the 2 steps. And Brian, I would have told you 2 weeks ago when we met. I literally just found out about this yesterday.
Yeah. Well, again, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Not your fault. But you're forcing me out of business.
But there's nothing we can.
Again, I'm saying not you, and not your board. But this city has done me wrong. It's not funny. You're smiling.
I'm not.
I don't think it's
Brian,
funny.
I met with you for how long? I want this to go
You were
forward.
the only person besides Mary Jo that advocated for me, and I appreciate you. I really do. And you showed me a lot as a man. That meant a lot to me.
And I think we can get this done. So
Yes.
I think if we
In the same timeline.
yes, I think if we buckle down and we just
So in the heart to heart, when they want to know about ordering a building, because they gave me a year right now, and now he's like, kid, shit or get off the pot, more or less. What am I going to do now? This is thousands of dollars here.
So you were coming before us on November the...
I don't even know. I don't know.
22nd.
November 22nd.
No, hold on.
No.
That's today's, October 22nd is today's date. November 26th.
November 26th. So you were coming to us for your site plan approval.
So
Either way, we weren't going to be able to do anything till our next meeting. You already knew this.
I knew that.
So
you can.
Let's say for the sake of argument, maybe you can get either the variance solved before then, or if you want to move the building, so be it. You get that solved before November 26th, and then nothing changes with the timeline you and I talked about.
Right.
I'm not promising the ZBA can do that, but I'm saying you can ask.
I just think we're just getting backdoored. Again, it's incompetence. I mean, I felt I got dirty on this whole deal. It's not funny. I mean, it's not even going to smile at the situation. I lost sleepless nights.
Nobody is laughing here.
Well, again, smiles are not, I mean, to me, I lost a lot of sleepless nights, thousands of dollars, and I don't know if I have to do other options. I don't know. Because it's not fair. And it's incompetent on their behalf because they should have known this.
Mary Jo, is there anything you'd like to respond? Oh. Okay.
Mary Jo Bohart, Economic Development Director. And Mr. Roberti has been working closely with myself and Chantel, actually, throughout a lot of what he's been doing to get this project to construction. What I think the city really needs to, it won't change what you all do, but I'm just framing it, like how did we get to this moment? When he submitted his form of intent, and that was submitted in mid-March, the zoning determination letter he received back, I often call it the checklist, the approvals you're going to need to do what you want to do. And I should add, when he submitted his form of intent, he had something that a lot of proposers don't have. He had his surveyed plot plan with the footprint of the new proposed greenhouse superimposed atop it, and those rear dimension measures that are closer than 50 feet in the back, were dimensioned on there. So it was in your face. There it is. It was not a late in the game idea. That was what he was proposing during the form of intent. The zoning determination letter listed site plan review by the planning board and special permit from the ZBA because the nonconformity was increasing, a bigger greenhouse. What it didn't mention was the need for a variance. And so as an applicant, and I would put myself in that too, because I'm often guiding an applicant based on what I call that shopping list, the bulleted items in the zoning letter, these are the different approvals, we're going to take you through and so on. And so that was sort of the marching orders that he and thus me assisting him were proceeding with. I think where his frustration is probably stemming from, in addition to the time constraint, seasonal business, several months of fabrication of a prefabbed structure, and can't order it until he knows the approvals are in hand. He's been waiting, and time is a-ticking, and spring is not that far off. So that's where a lot of the frustration is coming from. But when he appeared before the ZBA for that special permit, it was during their deliberation. And Paul, when you were watching it, you probably saw it again. It came out in their minutes and so on. That's where they started to talk amongst themselves about the dimensional relief wasn't part of the application. And then, the notion of a variance, it would be needed for that kind of dimensional relief. The problem, of course, is from the standpoint of the applicant, because he's been at this for a while, it probably feels quite odd to go before a board for one approval and then realize, oh, you're going to have to go back before them. So it's like an a la carte approach. And I think, I don't want to speak for Mr. Roberti, but that's where it had nothing to do with the planning board. He now is quite well informed about what your role is, site plan review, and so on. So that's not a question. He knows that he's here tonight informally. He knows that. But the frustration is that a valued small business who's been in the city a long time and is seasonal and has a wait time before a fabrication can, be completed, before he can even begin the construction, it all was kind of hinging on these different timeframes. And one last tidbit is that from the May 14th ZBA decision on that special permit, 2 months elapsed before it was put to writing, so the 20-day appeal period was, kind of.
I feel like you think that we're not sympathetic to this, Mary.
Okay, I don't mean to get off topic. I just want to frame kind of like why there's an urgency. And at this moment, if we all, the collective we, want to help him to get to the finish line, it probably is a lot of, interplay between the different boards and the staff and everything, because we all value what he does in the community, and he's so close. He's so close, but he's still missing, some approvals. And so I just wanted to frame that as best I can, because I've been working closely with him throughout his different.
You're going to guide him through the variance piece?
Well, what we did today internally, I haven't discussed it with him because we're here right now and haven't had a chance.
Okay.
Our executive director spoke with the chair of the ZBA, and it sounds as if we can get him onto the November 12th.
Oh, great.
Even though the deadline has passed to get onto that agenda, but once all these, what I just explained to you was explained again to that board chair, if that all comes to pass, and I prepared an application that could be submitted to the ZBA tomorrow, it could work out that on November the 12th, the ZBA addresses the variance, and then later in November, is it the 26th, he could reappear before you with variance in hand. Now, you bring up a good point. He could also contemplate moving the building so that it's, 50 feet away from the rear property line. I don't know if that works for his operations, because as you saw, the front of the site has some other things that are already present. And it could be that to move that building forward is really not in the cards. Who knows? But I just wanted to explain that, we are kind of on the fly trying to work to get his approvals in hand. But I think there's a lot of lessons learned. I'm sure Mr. Roberti has learned an awful lot about the workings of regulatory government. But even for us, I don't think it was ever the city's intention to have an applicant go back to the same board twice. I mean, that would be strange. But it all comes back to when a zoning determination letter doesn't mention a variance, how would an applicant who's never, had to do this apply for a variance?
Can I ask you a question, since this is a public hearing? Did our building commissioner admit that he made a mistake on the form of intent?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't want to speak for somebody else.
Because that needs to come out.
Exactly.
We need to, because if an error was made, someone needs to admit to it, and they need to help rectify the situation.
Right, and forgive me, but of course I'm cutting to the chase because I'm thinking about the business.
Yeah, right.
Seasonal business, time frame, fabrication for that greenhouse. Spring is coming. If he doesn't have a greenhouse, he's already disassembled the dilapidated one. He's greenhouseless. Yeah. And time is ticking, ticking, ticking. So that's where a lot of the urgency is coming from. And his experience going through all of this, I'm sure, has been something that you prefer.
It hasn't been.
I understand completely.
It doesn't sound like it was.
Again, I know it's bigger.
Anyway.
30 feet is 30 feet. Now again, yes, 30 feet is 30 feet, Mr. Roberti. I understand. But that's from here to where you are. I mean, it's not, I just cannot believe with the land around me.
So it's not that. It's statutorily, we cannot sign, we are legally not allowed to sign a plan that does not meet the setbacks because the way our city code is written, that's for the zoning board to do.
Yes.
Now, I can't explain what happened prior to today. What the good news is, and I think Mary Jo just said it, hopefully you can get the ZBA piece done relatively quickly. You can be on our November agenda still. If the ZBA is able to make a decision before our November meeting, then I think you're good to go. That I think that, I will tell you, I don't want to speak for the rest of the board, but I 100% want this to go as smooth as possible, which is why I met with you at your place. And I think that this board is generally, we are a very fair board, and we are very amenable to making sure we can do this as quickly as possible. So let's say we're nearing the end, the goal line, and we're almost there, and let's just see if we can, solve that one piece before it gets to us, and then hopefully you're good to go.
And don't be throwing the ZBA under, because.
Oh, I definitely didn't.
I'm just saying that yes, they have different authorizations, special permit and variance, and yes, you do sometimes have to go back twice. Sometimes they can take care of it if it's the applications in the same meeting, and sometimes they're at different meetings. But they're different, separate provisions and authorities underneath Massachusetts general law that they have to administer. And they're a volunteer board, too.
But they knew my number.
But there was no application, so they can't act on something if there's no application. All they had was a special permit.
Hold on. Let's not get off topic. So as I said right before that, the same thing Paul is saying. We don't know what happened, so let's just let them.
I just want to say that
figures don't lie. Those numbers, I did not fudge that.
No, there is nothing a doubting about what those numbers are. Nothing.
They would have known.
No, that is nothing about that.
You don't need to go there.
I'm trying to address some of the aspects about.
That's all I can say.
I'm talking about
your time. I know you're tired, and I appreciate
I know.
It's tough getting to the end of the night and doing these things at the end of the night.
But I'm just thinking about the departmental process.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
So let's, before you leave, let's just iron this out, because I know you got an extra thing thrown at you today, but I just want.
What are his thoughts about which direction you want to think of going with the parking? Because it's like we want to.
Did you like the idea that we drafted up? So if I talked to you and your surveyor on the phone, whenever it was last week.
You couldn't get it to me now, but yes.
Perfect. So if you can just show the parking area to scale and show the little landscape island to cut down that curb cut. I mean, you can hear from each board member individually, but I'm good with that.
I'm good with it too. Just show the spot where you put like the sign.
Yeah, parking in the rear. Just show a little thing, say this is where the sign's going to go.
That type of thing.
And another thing too, and I already filed with the
ZBA?
Register of Deeds. Already went there and paid, and that got logged on this already. So I mean, again, I don't know how I'm even going through all these processes. It already went to the Registry of Deeds, and it's already been logged with the Worcester County.
You're talking about the zoning board decision?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're good. So again, without getting too far into that, they're gonna they have a special permit decision, which is what they did. Now they'll have a variance decision. Or I don't even know if variances are treated like site plans, like we do for site plans. But
paid money on that. It's like,
let's let the ZBA speak for that, because I don't want to speak for that board because it's not our board.
I'm sorry. I mean again, if you were in my little sneakers here or sandals, I don't have anything good to say.
I wish we were near the beginning, because I wish I could have walked you through some of these things. Because
I wish you did too.
Because we might have, Paula picked up on the setback thing when we talked yesterday, and Christine was very helpful in explaining their side of things. So what I'm saying is it was, I think you were a mess of unfortunate events, and let's just try and see if we can try and get to the goal line, see if we can try and get you finished, and and go from there.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Next on our agenda is we have decommissioning bonds for Mad River Solar and the high school. And before we get that, appreciate your assistance, Mary Jo, and hopefully this can be brought back to how we can be more streamlined, not just streamlined in our taking the details to further up front to help make a smoother process for applicants. I understand that oversights happened, but unfortunately this spiraled. So we are on public record right now as well. So.
All right, let me pull up.
We appreciate your assistance and guidance with the applicants.
All right, let me pull up, because I already closed the window, so I have nothing up anymore. So you got to give me a second to get to everything. All right, we are doing the solar projects. All right, Mad River first, because it's first in the file.
The business.
So, Chantel, why don't you just give us the gist of it instead of me
I would
reading
love to
these?
give you the gist of it.
Perfect. Wonderful.
I had a local independent engineer, her name is Sarah Campbell, review the decommissioning bonds for the high school and Mad River. For Mad River specifically, in a nutshell, what they provided as an estimate she thought was grossly under what would be required to remove an installation of that size. She's recommending them put a bond up for $1.3 million. I did reach back out to them and ask them to update their documentation. They did put up a temporary bond because they wanted to start construction, and legal did review that and asked them to put up a temporary bond of $500,000. So we'll be working with them to get them to update that bond number or that estimate number.
Is that different from this, like, credit?
A line of credit or a bond.
Okay.
So this is a letter of credit, it says.
Yeah.
I'm reading the irrevocable standby letter of credit.
Mm-hmm. So that's the status of that.
Okay.
And the high school one came back as sufficient as what they presented.
And that was fine with also our legal review for?
Legal is looking at the language for both of them, and I haven't gotten feedback yet at this time, so I can update the board once all that comes through.
It's going through the process.
It is. It takes time, it seems.
Because I'm glad you mentioned that earlier to the other applicant about start now.
Yeah, I mean, it was a learning curve for me. I was like, this takes time, so sooner rather than later. So.
But yeah.
Is there any action you need from the board at this time?
No.
Okay.
What was the original bond amount for Mad River?
That's in the letter.
Yeah, I think it's in their original letter. Which sorry, I didn't.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay.
No, it's
Be higher.
It's not in the letter. She wrote that she rule of thumb National Renewable Energy Labs is $200 to $300 a kilowatt hour, which is $1.3 million range. This is certainly higher than I found elsewhere, but in my opinion, this estimate may be coming in at half to two-thirds of what the city should be requesting.
This is a bigger project, so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to compare. I thought the number was, I want to say it was 6 or 7, but I don't remember, so.
Does any board member have any question on the update? Okay.
No, it's fine.
We have scheduling of the CDBG meeting, and then also there's going to be, I want to bring up scheduling of our joint hearing for.
Right, I think you're all still discussing for the MBTA communities, yes.
Yes, I do have a note regarding that, and I want to take a board, put this out. It looks like we might be looking at the, I don't know, week of the 11th?
Yeah,
She was after that. No, it was
think-
after that now.
The last email I saw before I came here was possibly the 13th.
Okay.
After the Finance Committee meeting.
Right.
Are you talking about MBTA?
Yes.
3A? Okay.
The 3A,
I thought we were
yeah.
talking about CDBG. Okay.
So, yeah, the 13th. So I was wondering if board members, or at least a requisite amount of board members, or a majority available on the 13th.
Right.
We would need 4.
Mm-hmm. It's for the public hearing for MBTA.
Yes, for the MBTA, which is 3A, which is the, like a...
13th of
November.
It's a Wednesday. I could make it work. So if it's after finance, finance is 7, right? So finance would be, depending on how big their agenda is, no more than an hour usually.
I thought that Liz said they were done at 7.
Yeah, I think they were done.
Okay, maybe they start at 6?
Yeah, so she said that the hearing would start at 7.
Right, that's true, because council,
Yeah.
right, because council would probably start at 7, and not that night, but other nights.
So I just want to take a quick poll of board members, any board members available for that Wednesday, November 13th.
Yeah, I can make it work.
I can make it work. So we got 2. Is there 2 more?
I'll make it work.
Great, Alex. Alex, Paul, follow.
And this is at 7 p.m. on the 13th?
6, I think. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
I think 7.
7, I'm sorry.
I will.
I'm confusing everything. I
I
apologize.
will send out the hearing notice once we finalize the time, but yes, tentatively, November 13th at 7 p.m.
That was just not high.
Okay, great. I'll put that on my calendar.
In
and I'll
person?
adjust it as needed.
I'm sorry, in person? Or is this hybrid?
I'm not quite sure. I will follow up with Liz on that one.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it is hybrid at this point since we're
Alex,
kind of throwing it together.
I'll just say, would you be able to make it in person? If necessary?
If necessary, yeah.
Okay, thanks. Anybody else? We need a 4th.
I probably can, but I really have to check my calendar.
Okay. We've got
A tentative is still better than a no, so
Yeah.
at least we have a possibility with a tentative. And Amanda's not here, so there's a possibility. I'm not speaking for her because I don't know her schedule, but we could always ask her too.
Elena, you definitely not available?
It's hard because Wednesday is my in-office day, so I don't really get back. I get back whenever the traffic allows me to.
I hear you.
Yeah.
That's my in-office day, too.
As of right now, I can't, but I could potentially, if it's like.
Some more solid.
Yeah, I could move some things if I have to.
Okay. And then
Well, I mean, we
we'll
can
check with
ask.
Amanda, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, we can ask Amanda and then go
Or
from
if,
there.
Pete can't.
All right.
I just don't keep my calendar on
We
there.
have potential fallbacks.
Yeah, no
So many
worries.
different calendars. I'm like looking at this one.
All right, we'll get some, if you firm up that, wouldn't you let us know?
Because that's just a public hearing, is that 48-hour notice? That doesn't have to be 14-day notice for a public hearing?
For if I get the public hearing notice in before this week's end, and hopefully.
No. My question was, because it's not for special permits or anything else, because it's just a generic public hearing, isn't it 48-hour notice for public notification? Does it still
Are
have
you
to be?
talking about like open meeting?
Yeah.
law?
Does it
Yeah.
still have to be 14-day notice for?
Well, yeah, it's a public
hearing.
The public hearing
it's a public
notice,
hearing,
yes,
so it's
has
gotta
to
follow
be
the
14
Oh, it still
days.
has to be that far in advance.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's why I said the 28th wouldn't work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
next week.
Okay.
This
Oh,
week.
yeah.
5 days, yeah.
So if I can get the notice in by this Friday, we should be good.
Okay.
But we need to
Firm
tack
that.
down a day and make sure folks can attend. so.
Okay. And I would ask, can you please send me the draft from the last meeting to see if there are any further updates? Language.
The draft of the MBTA?
Yes.
or- Okay, I'll touch base with Liz, I think.
Because you should have probably got another update after your last meeting with the comments from,
Yeah, I think we do.
okay,
Block grant.
thank you. And then we have block grant, which seems we got an e-message on that. It's for, where is it underneath? Communications? Other business? CDBG, hold on. Kimberly. Hoping to plan the next CDBG first public hearing with the planning board in January. My thought is that if we can plan to have applications due by the 6th of January, the hearing on January 16th. What's January 16th?
Thursday.
Thursday. It's normally on a Thursday at 6 p.m. So you can have the proposals then to us for our meeting later in the month, on the 28th. For that. So I guess tentatively, it looks like they want to set it for the 16th.
Are you okay with that?
I'm normally
Doesn't matter
okay.
to
We
me.
usually have the two.
That's far enough in
yeah,
advance.
we
That's
get
far enough in
in
advance. I can make it work.
We do that. We need 4 people for that.
Yeah,
Actually, we don't really need 4 people for that.
I was gonna say, only 2 of us one time.
Yeah, we don't need 4 people for that. We're just hosting the meeting
Mm-hmm.
for that. So.
Okay.
That would be fine. You're right.
Put it on my.
January 16th, CDBG. Then we have, before we get to minutes, we have communications, which I just asked Chantel at the last minute to put on.
I did. I uploaded.
There's, for people's info, just uploaded this afternoon was the Moran Square redesign. There was a presentation earlier this month regarding that.
I uploaded the concept plan and the most recent design plan that's been done to 25%.
Okay. It's good to just FYI, but I'm looking at it and I'll have some comment.
Okay.
And I was wondering how DPW worked on input and other aspects on the plan, because there's just some, bigger changes. So.
Yeah, I definitely think providing comments would be a good idea.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so for the general public out there too, they're on our meeting materials underneath our communications. The concept plans have been uploaded for anybody to take a look at and provide comment back to the city. And being said, we're into minutes, for which we have 3 sets.
Don't gloss over the communication, because I asked Chantel to put that on there.
What?
If any of the board members have not or cannot remember the last time they took the conflict of interest law training, board members are
It's not
required to
uploaded,
take.
that's why I'm sorry.
Board members are required to take it every 2 years. It's state statute. So if you can't remember the last time you did it, you can click the link that Chantel put on there, or you can Google Massachusetts Ethics Commission Conflict of Interest Law, and it'll take you to that website.
So if because I have to do it at Fitchburg State.
I think you have to do it for the planning board as well,
do.
because when you can ask legal that question.
I'll just do it.
Because when you sign up, it asks you for your position.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's the same thing. So
It is, but you got to do one for this.
Thanks for the heads up, guys. Yeah, I probably
do
need
one
to
for
do
the state and one for local government. So you got to do 2.
Okay.
Yeah, Alex, it's
I was all excited thinking.
it's tedious, but it's mandatory.
Yeah.
So if anyone doesn't know,
I don't mind. I just want to make sure that I appreciate the heads up.
Yep. Good.
And it's way harder than the federal ethics training, I will tell you that much, when I have to take it.
And when you're done, there's a certificate.
Save it.
Yeah, so you can technically one is supposed to get sent to City Hall as well, automatically, but I always used to email them to Mike, and I know when I did it last year, I sent it to Chantel. So, the City Hall realistically should be keeping a tab of when people's expire, the same way we need a list of when our terms expire, which I don't know if that's out there somewhere, but we should probably round up all that information into one spreadsheet so that we can keep track of, hey, the conflict of interest training expired, and
I don't remember when.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. It might be tedious, but if you start filling it in now as people send them to you, maybe in 2 years we'll be close to having it full.
Maybe contact the clerk's office of, should we be sending it to the clerk's office? Or,
Yeah, I can do that.
It's pretty much, it's like when anybody on the boards, it's who's keeping the repository of these.
Right.
I know.
Now, you guys said there was a link in the email?
It's on the agenda under communications.
Perfect. All right. I'll do that. I'll get that to you this week, Chantel.
I appreciate it, Alex. Thank you.
So at the barest minimum, it's like if you PDF send it as an attachment, Chantel could send it to the clerk's office, but
I thought
nice to know what the procedure is, so.
Yeah, like I said, I thought I remembered when you
if they have one, but I'll double check with them because they never.
Where they get filed? Do they get filed with the HR office? Like, where are they
Nobody's told
supposed to
me.
go?
Well, I thought I remember when you finish it, it says this will be sent to the jurisdiction that you signed up for, but, because you put City of Fitchburg Planning Board.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, maybe that's the case, but if you could maybe just clarify so that,
Okay.
we're not sending members doing any extra work that they don't need to, but people, or, persons are getting it who need to get it.
Okay. That sounds
It's going down a different funnel.
Before we do minutes really quick, we have an attendee who joined like an hour ago. And I just want to ask, you don't have to respond, but if there's anything that you're on here for, we only have minutes left. So I just wanted to make someone know that they didn't, if they missed something, let us know. No hands raised, so. Oh, okay. Mr. Morrison, if you were here for anything in particular, you can use the raise your hand function. Otherwise, we'll just keep moving on. I think we gave the people direction as far as that, your property went earlier.
And underneath minutes, we've got 3 sets. The oldest one first was December of 2023, which then closes out 2023. I'm so excited.
I'm not going to pull them up because unless someone wants to go over something in particular, these are all so long. We're not going to go through each page. So,
well, I just want to ask. So, for December, bringing up December, does anybody have any comments regarding the December 2023 minutes?
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from December 2023.
Are there any? There's nobody? Okay.
Second.
Motion's been made with the second to approve the minutes from December 2023. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say oppose. Roll call vote. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye. All right. Next set. We have June of this year, June of 2024, of which there are 8 pages. Does anybody have any comments regarding those draft minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from June 24.
A motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
And a second to approve the minutes from June 2024. Roll call vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say oppose. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye. And we have July minutes of this year, and a total of 7 pages. Does anybody have any comments on those minutes? Hearing none.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion's been made with a second to approve the minutes from July 2024. Roll call vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say oppose. Peter?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Tracy?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye.
Alex?
Aye.
Paula? Aye. And that was June. Let me write this down. June, July 2024, 2024, December 2023. Hey, we are so close. This is like...
It's been a long time since we've been this close to having all our minutes done.
Appreciate the efforts of the planning office.
Me too.
The only other thing I just wanted to mention, I don't know if you were going to pull up, but Mark Doan has graciously invited us all to tour the BF building. And he's going to, Paula had just sent out an email yesterday or today asking him to coordinate that with Chantel. So days and times to be determined, but a walkthrough of the construction.
Yeah, it's either a day or evening or a weekend, or I'm not sure what, people's preference, but I'm sure that, I'm interested in doing a walkthrough. I'm sure that people are too, so we'll put that out there.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can toss something out there.
Yeah.
That'd be great. It'd be nice.
I'd be interested in participating in that.
What's that? You would be good.
Yeah, the whole board will be invited.
Yes. Yeah, because
I
I
don't
saw
know if
some
you-
preliminary photos and it looks
I
phenomenal.
don't know if everyone remembers, but my one request was that we do it after all the politicians do it, because I just wanted to see the project without all the, you know, the hoopla that goes with those meetings. So hopefully we can just get to see what they're doing and see what it looks like.
And I want to say thank you to all of our board members for their time and effort in volunteering, because it is a process. So thank you for all sticking
been
with
fun.
Thank you for all sticking with it. We persevere.
Make a motion to adjourn.
A motion's been made with a
Second.
second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Everyone, everybody.